Hello, everyone out there in Streamland. How are we doing? All during this time when time is not real, regulations are suspended. The holidays to everybody out there, whatever you are celebrating. We are live from the apocalypse, and we are so pleased that you guys are joining us today. If you are just joining us, thank you so much for stopping in. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio who raises money for charities, nonprofits, and other um, mutual aid organizations through our content. We just ask that if you like what you are seeing here, and we hope sincerely that you do, that uh, rather than giving us blips or chits or scripts, anything like that, Jeffy B is going to take half of that. So just take whatever money you would be giving to us and instead give it directly to the causes that we are raising money for, which right now is medical aid for Palestinians who are doing a lot of good humanitarian work in the Gaza Strip right now. You may notice, eagle eyed viewers, that we have hidden the subscribe button. Uh, you may seek it at your peril. We cannot fully get rid of it because of the Twitch income model, but you must first answer me these riddles 3. Instead, we have a donate button that, to our knowledge, sends 100% of everything that you donate directly to who we are raising money for. Also, coincidentally, raising money will cause the McElroy brothers to loudly interrupt mostly me. So if you really want to throw me off my stride in whatever overwrought monologue I'm currently in the middle of, sending money to good causes is an excellent way of doing that and an excellent source of entertainment. Um, Today we are near to finishing up our 12 parentheses ish asterisks games of Haz-Mas for the season. We are going to be playing a game of A Ghastly Affair. It is an OSR hack specifically for Gothic horror. Uh, Game entitled The Events at Mistletoe Manor. First things first, going to go around to everybody and have everyone introduce themselves, just who they are, who they're playing, and then we will do more involved plugs at the end. And unfortunately, in my ad hoc OBS setup that I had to do, I have lost the window that gave me the big icons. So people will have to just introduce themselves tiny style. So let's start with Anya.
Hello, hello. I'm Anya. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to be playing Ada McRae, also she, her pronouns. Is there anything else I should say?
Just what class are you playing?
Oh, I am playing the Every Woman, also a novelist.
Very cool. Next up, we have Della.
Hi, I'm Della, pronouns she, her, and I'll be playing Hyacinthus Owens, who is a demon hunter from the south of America. Well, south of Northern America. Don't worry about it. It's fine, honey. It's all fine. Yeah, I'm playing, as I said, a demon hunter. The end.
Very cool. Kian up next.
Hello, hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Miss Eden Bell, who is a grave robber and a doctor, more importantly.
I see. And could we have Rouge next?
Yes. Hello, I am Rouge, and I am playing Mary Barkley, the niece of the esteemed host of our setting. And she is a libertine in her flouting of conventional society and morals. So,
Very cool. And then I guess that just leaves me. Hi, everyone. I am Brendan, pronouns he, him. I am going to be playing literally everyone and everything else today. And so, with that, I guess it is time for us to set our scene. It is the Christmas tide season in the far north of Caithness, Scotland. in the year 1883. The bogs and the fens have frozen over, allowing egress over the less treacherous portions via sleigh through snow crusted apple orchards and frozen follies that dot the landscape. Amidst the dark, there is a light growing closer and closer as horse and sleigh and carriage approach. And that is the wintering house of Baron Aaron Buttermore, Mistletoe Manor. The Baron is known as a jolly old soul who never met a Christmastide celebration that he didn't like. And he hosts here at his winter estate a annual winter wassail of the apple orchards to which he invites friends and family and fascinating guests from across the country, across the globe. This year, in particular, is an interesting year as the Baron is showcasing his newly installed electric Christmas lights. Electricity having only really been widely introduced in the United Kingdom in 1881, 2 years prior, and electric Christmas lights only having been initially demonstrated by Thomas Edison 3 years prior in 1880. But when it comes to Christmas, the Baron is always on the cutting edge. It will be a night of socializing, of feasting, of gift giving, of ghost stories, and of course, the wassail. Right now, we're in the socializing portion of the evening. Everyone is just mingling and chatting, and that is where we find our players for this evening's guignol. I guess let's start off with perhaps the closest to the Baron, the Baron's wayward niece. What are you getting up to?
Mary is, of course, just trying to flit around looking for, if she can't find trouble already happening within the house, she's gonna make it. So she's just looking for where there's other people, guests to, if nothing else, try and have like scandalous conversation with. So she's probably darting in and out of any of the like public areas of the house where guests might be gathering, like drawing room studies, etc., looking for something to do.
Well, I think it isn't long at all before you are drawn to a familiar face, one Persephone Westmiller, something of a partner in crime and gossip. Uh, you know that anywhere, any party that Persephone shows up to is going to surely be an interesting one, and if it isn't interesting, she will find a way to make it interesting.
Perfect.
She is in the parlor, a titter with a small group of people.
Persephone, darling.
Oh, Mallory, I was hoping you would show up. I thought surely after that sordid affair down in Edinburgh that your uncle would have disinvited you.
And make me miss out on Christmas? He would never.
Oh, I'm sure, no, too cruel by half for him. Have
Besides, my parents' only other option would be to keep me in Edinburgh, and that couldn't do, so
no, I
here I
suppose
am.
not. I Have you been introduced to my two friends here? We have sorry, my alerts on my laptop popping up here, not optimal. Please, let me introduce you to my two fascinating friends. We have Flynn McDonald, who is a poet from Glasgow, and here we also have Ada, who is a novelist.
Oh, a novelist, you say? Anything I
Oh,
might have
yeah.
seen?
Oh, just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I tend to go a little bit towards the macabre personally.
Oh, that sounds positively, scandalous. I'll have to, read something of yours. Do you have anything with you?
I have some pages with me I've been working on.
Maybe you can read it out to us later around a fire when it gets dark and spooky.
Maybe. We'll see. It's unpublished, you see.
Well, what better for a Christmas treat than a little sneak preview for all of us?
Flynn interjects at this point, and I'm rather curious, Ada, how, what a luddite like you thinks about all of this electric cheer the Baron has added this year.
It is revolting to the extreme. I have no need for electricity. Regular lights will do.
Don't you think it adds a certain vibrant modernity to the proceedings?
Certainly not. It is garish. I have no interest in having anything to do with electricity.
I mean, I do agree. I think that the architecture of the house maybe is not one that is well suited to modern lighting, but I do feel it does highlight some of the more interesting features around the lintel. A delightful contrast of the uh, future, the primordial past. Something of a dilettante of occult philosophy myself, you see.
Hmm. No, I have no interest in any of that. My typewriter doesn't require any of this electricity, after all. Candles do well enough for me. And if not, then natural light.
If you say so. And speaking of the lintel features that um, Lynn is pointing out, I think they would probably be something of an object of fascination for
Yeah,
Hyacinthus.
We
Justin,
had
fucking
fun.
grip it and rip it, baby. Slop that down, dude. Shit,
Yes, I
yeah,
think
dude.
so. I
Crack one for
think
the
they
big
certainly would
boy.
be. Oh, and thank you for your donation.
Yes, thank you so much for the donation. Yes,
Yeah, what's going on around this here lintel? I
uh,
know that word.
yes, Hyacinthus may not be a student of architecture, but the woodwork in this old manor is fascinating. There's a great section of it that is very lovingly hand carved, um, incorporating a lot of like natural wood grain and, true to its name, a lot of artistic motifs of mistletoe creeping up the sides of door frames and windows, and along the tops of mantles. There are also sort of more legendary features, artistic flourishes of gargoyles and sort of pagan satyrs. It looks like.
Hmm. How pagan are we talking here? Like, am I like, is this house gonna be? Am I getting like like a oh these things are cute and fun kind of vibe, or am I getting like a this house might be full of demon worshippers vibe?
Give me a quick intelligence check.
That sounds great. I'm real good at those.
All right, see if you can roll under your intelligence stat.
My dice generally don't have a problem with rolling low.
Right? Yeah.
So let's find out how they do for me tonight.
They'll do the opposite for this game.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dice can sense weakness,
Yes.
Well,
and they
my
take advantage of it whenever they can.
I rolled an 11 and my intelligence is at a 10. So nope.
Uh,
Wah, wah.
yeah, it's especially here in the UK. There's been something of a sort of a revival in what the Germans would call romantische Naturphilosophy. And so some of it you have noticed tends to incorporate genuine occult elements. But if this it's from a tradition that you're not overly familiar with.
All right. All right. But I'm going to keep on looking around and I will never, I'm not a man to pass up free food and drink. So I will continue looking around the room, seeing who's here. And is there anything else interesting about this here mantelpiece? Anything else other than these electric lights?
Um, I think yes. I think yeah. Over the mantle, you are drawn to a family portrait that is hanging over the fireplace. It is a portrait of the immediate Buttermore family. You don't know them especially well. You are mostly traveling in this region. You got an invite as one of Baron Buttermore's fascinating guests. And as you said, you're never one to turn down free food.
Yeah, ain't happening.
Even still, you recognize from milling about um, the shape of Baron Aaron Buttermore, a bit thinner in the portrait than he is now, but not by much. His now white beard is more of a salt and pepper. His smile quite jovial, which particularly as a portraitist, you would imagine he probably had to hold that for quite a while. Um,
Mm-hmm.
his wife, the Baroness Bridget Buttermore, is there, also smiling, though a little bit more thinly. Um, Seated beside them, there is young Edwina Buttermore, who by now has grown into a vivacious young adult. There is, you would recognize to be Duncan Buttermore. You think you've heard the name. He's a young teenager in the picture, and now a grown man. Easy to pick out just because he is scowling just as deeply in the portrait as he is here. His gloom very much contrast to the effervescent cheer of his father. Um, there does appear to be a fifth figure in the portrait. Um, Based on the positioning, would appear to be another son.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to your knowledge, you have not heard anyone introduce you to any other Buttermore children, and
Okay.
haven't heard the name tossed around in any of the idle conversations that you've listened to.
Mm. All right. So in terms of the positioning in the portrait, am I getting lost a baby vibes or am I getting like older like uh is it like a standing figure, a figure that might have been seated in the front and so like a younger
You would their approximate age in the portrait, as you would guess, would be an older preteen.
older preteen. Okay,
Yeah,
so younger than Duncan, but or not a baby.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
And I would guess that this picture is about 10 years off from
yeah. Well,
10, 15.
yeah, probably at this point, yeah, like 15, probably.
15 years off. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. And Duncan's scowl across the room, is it gloomy or is it cross? Like
Hard to
what's
s-
the
hard to say. Make me a quick wisdom check.
Sure, I will use a different die and see if that one is better. This
It
one rolled
won't be.
this one rolled 3 nat ones last.
Well, we love to see those in this system.
It's true. So this is a 10 and I'm pretty sure my wisdom is a 9. So, yep, sure is. All right.
It He might just be one of those guys that just has one of those faces that is allergic to smiling.
Just got a face like that. I think I
Yep.
might mosey on over and see what this man is doing.
As you do so, I think you will sort of just briefly kind of jostle against someone in the crowd. Someone who you briefly lock eyes as you are passing by each other, and just as someone in your line of work, you have sort of an immediate sense for people who have also brushed with the uncanny. Um, this is a much older man. Um, not one you're sure you've heard introduced. And you're already on your way to another conversation, but
Mhm.
it's an immediate feeling when you lock eyes with somebody who has touched the darkness. And as you continue uh passing by and just making a note of that for later, the old man turns back to conversation with their younger associate. The older man in question is uh, Dr. Godfrey Grimes. Uh, Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Godfrey Grimes, a physician in uh, Edinburgh and Glasgow for many years, who has more recently retired to the countryside and become a friend and physic to the Buttermore family. Their young associate is uh, Dr. Eden. What was the Eden's last name again?
Bell.
This is Dr. Eden Bell. More recently arrived in the area. And how is your practice treating you, Eden?
Somewhat uneventful, I would say. It is keeping me busy, and in what little spare time I have, I'm able to do a little bit of advancement in my own studies.
I see. How have your more anatomical studies been progressing? And uh, Eden, you know that Grimes here is referring to your some of your extracurricular activities. uh, Grimes is a contact of yours. Um, Not mostly he's these days a sort of a procurer and a go-between. But back in the boom days of body snatching, he was a young physician, and it is widely said that he was an associate of Burke and Hare as a young man.
Eden adjusts. Eden wears dark gloves to hide the dirt that they cannot scrub out from underneath their nails. And she adjusts the gloves at her wrists and just says, profitable as always. And there never seems to be a dwindle in clients.
You say that. I remember there was a time when we couldn't, well, meet demand fast enough. But there are always discerning clients who are willing to pay for the privilege. I am glad to hear it. I don't know that I have any work for you in the area, but if something should come across my desk, I will certainly let you know.
Any work, or if there's any particularly interesting anatomical um, recent residents in the ground that you think would be of interest to me.
None recently, at least that I am aware of. at least not nearby. Um, Eden, also give me a quick wisdom check.
Ooh, I think I won. Uh, what's my wisdom? Yes, I rolled an 8. My wisdom is a 10.
That moment where you roll the low number and your like immediate thought is like, oh, but then you remember, wait. As Grimes says this, there's a hesitation in his voice, and some you're not sure what, but there is something that is bothering him, almost as if you've touched on an unpleasant memory.
Um, would I know the doctor well enough to know if this is something I can address here, or is this something that I should bring up in private?
You're not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Eden will kind of take a glass of whatever is being passed around, take a sip. Um, if there's anything that you would like to share, doctor, I'm always a listening ear.
No, no, I'm sorry. I was miles away. Forgive me. Um, I say, I think some of this punch is already going to my head.
Nothing to forgive.
And so, with that, I think we will actually circle back to Hyacinthus, who is making their way over to Duncan. Yes.
Yes, I would just want to see how this young man is doing at this fine party. So I'm gonna make my way over with a drink in my hand. Does he have a drink in his?
Uh, Duncan appears to have a drink, but to your eyes, it is water.
All right, all right. Um, so he will come walking up and say, "My, this is a mighty fine party your father is throwing. How are you doing today, young Master Duncan?"
He There was a moment where he, he rather recoils from you. Um, a a booze swilling American, uh, yeah, obviously from the lower classes, but he remembers his place as a host of the party and very quickly composes himself. Yes, quite the party that father has thrown as always. Are you enjoying yourself, Master
Oh, Hyacinthus,
Hyacinthus
Owens.
Owens? Yes, I'm so sorry. I
Owens.
was searching for your surname. You have such an interesting church name.
Yes, my mother thought of herself as a classicist, you see.
Uh, I see.
Now, tell me a little bit about, I don't know very much about this part of the world. I've been here for only a few weeks. Can you tell me a little bit, would you mind telling me a little bit about this house, about this stunning mantelpiece I see over here? And I think at High will at this point like put his drink down and like walk away from it in sort of this effort to be like, okay, you're not, we can do this without social lubrication. You're not into that. I don't need to be into that.
Oh, and he just sort of sips his water. I yes, I'm not quite the aesthete that my father is. Sadly, you might have to talk to him for more details. The house we purchased many years ago. I'm not sure if I was even born yet, but I do know that the architectural features were a particular selling point for father as he sought to restore it. It was something of a ruin when we first bought it and restored it at no small expense. In addition, including more recently the electrical light display that you might now see.
That is so interesting to me. I love the hearing about the this uh all this electricity coming all around the world. Now, do you know where you get your electricity from? Like where's the do you know anything about that?
My understanding is that we have a connecting line run some leagues from here, installed at no small expense.
Oh,
When it comes to the Christmastide season, Father never spares any expense.
I see. I well, I can see that. I feel I've touched upon some bruising
My
here.
sincerest apologies. I am being a bore. I as more recently as Father nears retirement, I have been taking on more of the company books. And I I have never quite shared my father's enthusiasm for the Christmas season.
I understand. Well, what would you let's see if I can stop being quite so much of a bore to you myself. And tell me a little bit, what would you rather be doing? Don't mind me. You're not gonna excuse me. I forget myself sometimes. I would love it to hear about what the things that you would like to do if you had the opportunity in this fine season, this weather. What would you be spending your time doing?
I I certainly don't mind the socialization, the interesting guests that Father invites, such as world travelers such as yourself, or indeed Mr. Thorsten, the Arctic explorer over there. Um, I just find that I could do without all of these libations, the punch, the eggnog, the carols, the all this cavorting about in the orchards. It strikes me all as a bit unseemly. Not to mention the expense of it all. I would much prefer a more intimate gathering.
I knew back home a Baptist minister who would agree with you entirely. I know Protestantism up around these parts can be uh, a whole nother conversation. But this man, far beyond his Christian leanings, was also a man, as you say, who sort of liked things to be nice, simple, enjoyed socializing with people as people, and not requiring all of this pomp and circumstance and frippery. I appreciate that sentiment. I think that is a very wise sentiment among the young. It's not one we see a lot, especially if you forgive me, among the upper social classes.
I suppose I just prefer a certain practicality to things.
Um, well, as a relatively practical man myself, I do appreciate that. And I think High will kind of continue, sort of make some sort of making idle, polite conversation until a polite way to extract himself and probably go talk to Thorsten about adventuring in the Arctic and like, you know, getting into like, all right, so how do you actually source seal fur? Like how do you actually go and what are you doing to actually like fund these expeditions? Uh, uh, that kind of thing starts to come up.
Okay.
But
And so as you're making your way over there, I think you will pass by this small group of Flynn, Mary, Ada, and Persephone, and you catch a snippet of their conversation. What are you guys talking about?
Well, I posted about it in our video ninja chat, but Ada has found one of the carvings because she had to get very close to them to see them, as she is nearsighted. But she has started to describe one of the short stories that she wrote about a satyr, and she has this glass cup of glühwein, which is like hot
Fine.
mulled wine, that she's like drinking deeply while she's talking about it and describing something very horrific and violent.
Oh, yeah, no, I stopped to listen to that, like, immediately. Oh, yeah, no, this is more interesting than, trying to outfit an expedition, because the answer to that question was call Abercrombie& and Fitch. That was the actual answer for those expeditions, call Abercrombie. Uh, but yeah, so yeah, no, so you now have another person listening, who
Mhm.
probably goes by and picks up another drink, uh, now that he's extracted himself from the teetotaler,
Mhm.
and is listening to your tale of horror,
Mhm.
with some interest.
One of the things that you would notice, like, as she's talking, like, she's gesturing to this carving, and as she shifts, she's wearing this, deep, almost like a blood red gown, and it, jingles a little bit as she moves because there are, little bells sewn into the hem of her dress. And I didn't describe her at all earlier. Deep black hair that's all, like, done up really nicely, and there's a golden rose that's pinned, into her hair as well.
What are the ages of all of y'all? Hyacinthus is probably in his like 40s.
Ada is, I would say, probably late 30s.
Okay,
Widowed.
right. And Mary, how old is Mary?
Mary is like you guess like 18, 19, like old enough that she should be acting like an adult, but also in a way that's young enough that she feels more like the teenager aspect really comes through. So
Okay, okay, all right. Um, that is a remarkable story.
Oh, thank you. It's one of my most popular. And you are?
My name is Hyacinthus Owens. It's a pleasure to
Mm,
meet you. Shakes your hand.
absolutely. And she's wearing, like, black gloves, and she shakes her hand back.
High's hands are noticeably calloused, like your gloves probably snag a little bit, like on his hands.
Mhm.
Um, this this is a mighty fine party. I'm getting to talk to so many interesting people. Are you a professional storyteller?
I am indeed. I took a little inspiration from Mary Shelley. She was inspired in her writing.
You can say that. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, that is excellent. I think it is most instructive to tell these tales to people. So people know um what's out there in the world,
Hmm.
or what things might be lurking in the shadows.
As you say.
And while this conversation is going on, Mary, do you mind giving me a quick wisdom check?
not my greatest wait, I know what I want to do. I want to use my extra life die because it pretty consistently rolls low. And it came through again. That is a 3, so I don't even need to check my character sheet. I succeed that wisdom check.
All right. You notice that sort of as this conversation is going on, and as Ada was relaying their macabre story earlier, that a couple cups of glühwein deep, maybe a little louder than intended. So it's attracted the attention of several other party goers around the room, most of whom are definitely sort of recoiling and sort of turning their gaze away noticeably at the grisly subject matter, with two notable exceptions. Um, there is the young physician Eden, who appears utterly unfazed by this. You're not sure why, but for whatever reason, they seem to have a much stronger constitution for these sorts of descriptions. And the other one, a little bit further back in the corner, is Mr. Thorsten, the Arctic explorer.
Hmm. Um, and I'm sorry, have we actually met Mr. Thorsten in our like description of the room so far?
Not really. They've been pointed out a couple of times. They are just sort of hanging out in the corner. They are one of the guests invited by your uncle. You would probably know
Mhm.
from looking at the guest list. They have recently returned from an Arctic expedition as part of the first international polar year. You believe they're Norwegian? They are wearing rather a heavy coat, um, sort of a heavy, scraggly beard, very piercing eyes.
Yeah, sure. Let's go find out more about that. Why not? So Mary would drag Persephone with her to go talk to Mr. Thorsten. Um and under the pretense of like, "Oh, Mr. Thorsten, you're my uncle's friend, recently returned from the Arctic, correct?"
Yes. I have not previously made the acquaintance of your father. Cannot say that I know him, but I, uh, yes, have recently returned from the far pole.
Oh, you wouldn't want to meet my father anyway. He's painfully boring. But tell me, what is it like being up in the Arctic? Is it all frightful, empty expanses and tales of danger?
The greatest danger is often boredom, a dull
Oh.
expanse of oblivion that harrows the soul day upon day, the sun never setting, and endless white until you are blinded and you long only for the sweet embrace of night.
Well, that sounds awful, and I'm so glad that instead you could be here to enjoy the festivities of my uncle. I'm going to keep going about the route. Wouldn't want anyone to feel left out, but please, I know they're circling with some drinks. You should maybe have one and relax. And she's going to like drag Persephone away again because she was expecting much better stories out of him, and instead that all sounds awful. So she'll then drag right over to Dr. Eden there in the corner of like, hi, hello. I don't think we've met so far. My name's Mary. I'm the niece of the Baron.
Mary, lovely to meet you. My name is Eden. Are you enjoying yourself so far?
Oh, well, it's certainly better than being shut up back home for the holidays, but uh you know, just waiting for something really interesting to happen at this party. So,
Well, I'm sure that the host will deliver.
uh, well, dear uncle always does his best to find something to keep everyone entertained. So,
I saw you speaking with the novelist who seemed to have some interesting tales to share.
yes, she does say that she writes macabre stories, and I was hoping she'd give us, a reading later, but she said the only thing she has with her hasn't been published, so we'll just have to see if we can twist her arm a little bit.
That would be very interesting indeed to hear. Um, I think you would notice Eden does have a small book with them, and it is on the properties of bloodletting, which is probably a big tip off of why That was not a particularly scary tale. Um, and would pull the book out. Do you think that this might be of interest perhaps to her? Maybe some inspiration to be found?
Can't hurt to ask, can it? Maybe we can do an exchange and get her to read those pages after all if you, you know, pass her along something, and let's go find out. And she's like going to like link arms with Dr. Bell and just start dragging her across the room unless Dr. Bell does anything to stop her. So
Won't stop her, but looks completely frazzled. Does not look at all prepared for this turn of
what is this
events.
child doing? Why is it touching me? Answer, because Mary doesn't have good boundaries. All right. So yeah, Mary's gonna drag Dr. Eden over and be like, "Oh, Miss Ada, I found someone else to maybe do an exchange of reading material with you."
I am certainly intrigued. What do you have for me? And she kind of gives you an assessing look. Is there any way to tell that you are a doctor at a glance?
Not at all.
Cool. She's just looking at you, waiting for an introduction then.
Uh, Dr. Eden Bell, lovely to make your acquaintance. I couldn't help but overhear the stories that you were sharing, that you have written, and it was a bit of interest to me as a
Hmm.
practitioner myself and a little bit more familiar with the realities of the macabre.
Interesting. I would love to pick your brain.
I am an open book. I do carry, of course, and pulls out, and you would see that the book itself is really worn. And if you open it up, there are notes in the margins. This is following a major cholera outbreak in Glasgow, and so there are notes in the margins about what could possibly have been a benefit of bloodletting in relation to the cholera outbreak to prevent any further
Hmm.
outbreaks.
Interesting.
Too much
Oh,
blood. That's always
and
the news problem.
It's true.
Yeah, got too much blood.
hmm and she would have introduced herself as Mrs. Ada McRae.
Is it Ada or Ada?
Ada, sorry.
Ada. No, that's
One
okay.
of
I
those
just want to make sure I say it
weird
right.
names, so I was like, wait, Ada.
No worries, just want to make sure. Um, yeah, I think Dr. Bell would just kind of share a little bit about their medical experience and their expertise. And it's probably not staying interesting very long because it gets very clinical. But there's a
Oh
lot of
no, Ada is
keen.
fascinated and
Oh,
has
good.
like there's actually pockets in her dress. Then she's pulled out a notebook that's just filled with notes, and she's taking down her own notes.
There's a little bit, if you know anything about Dr. Bell's background, there's a little bit too much familiarity with anatomically
Hmm.
how to not just how to bloodlet, but how to dissect a body, how to engage in that way. There's a little bit too much hyperfixation on that element of it all.
Yeah, and while me personally, I can't do that stuff, Ada is fascinated and is just so into everything that you're describing.
Is Dr. Grimes still around? Is he still beat bopping around?
Be bopping around, yeah.
Okay.
He's not in your
Um,
group, but he is mingling.
okay. I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on him at a distance. I want to try to engage privately if there is a chance to, but I'm not gonna like by any means rudely extricate myself from the conversation.
Sure, yeah. You mainly see him hanging out and chatting with the Baroness Bridget Buttermore. Not super surprising as a personal physician to the family.
Then yeah, I will spend my time until I can kind of sequester him.
Okay. And as you all are sharing this conversation, and you've all made each other's acquaintance there, you hear the dinner bell ring, and everyone starts making their way to the long table in the dining room for a Christmas repast.
Well, shall we away?
Indeed, I suppose we shall. Hopefully, the food is good despite all of the electric lights. They wouldn't have used anything to make the food, would they? With electricity?
I cannot say I'm an expert on how that might happen.
Mm.
Flynn McDonald interjects. I have heard something of this discussion of galvanic cookery. I've never had it myself, but they say that it may be the coming thing.
Sounds like poison to me.
I'm not sure how, if you get a wood, you can just burn wood, you can just burn coal, you can just burn peat, and you
Exactly.
can find them anywhere. How's this electricity taking miles and miles of wires? Gotta burn hundreds and thousands of tons of coal, gotta bury people alive underneath a mountainside to get to it. Mm-mm. I'm with you.
Thank you.
And everyone sits down at the table, starts making small talk. Uh, Flynn is still kind of gently ribbing Ada about electricity. You've never really known Flynn to be a particular modernist or futurist, but you think that this is just something that he sort of enjoys needling Ada about. And so we'll continue
Sure.
carrying forth about the latest advancements by Edison and Tesla, uh, along with more fantastical suggestions about things we could use electricity for in the future.
Hmm. I have no need of it. I have a horse, I have a carriage, I have my typewriter. That's all that I need.
I should dare say, perhaps there will come a day when electricity will put creatives such as you and I out of our work. Electric typewriters that produce their own prose.
That will never happen.
Don't you fucking start, Brendan. Don't you fucking start.
uh, while we're all sitting at the table, um, everyone make me a quick wisdom check.
That's
Don't
just
don't worry. We'll
rude.
we'll we will we'll work out those other stats later in the session. But for right now,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of wisdom going on.
My new die has notoriously been really awful, so we'll see.
Is it meat or
Nope.
beat? Is it meat or under?
Meet or under, yeah.
I got a 9.
I
What do you
rolled a
got there?
nat 20.
A 9.
Oh.
I rolled 10 over. No, 12 over my wisdom, so I'm pretty sure.
I
You
think that
boned.
yeah, no, I think Flynn has at this point just gotten under your skin enough that you are really just focused on trying to just cut this dude down. Just shut up,
Mhm.
please, begging you. All
Oh, yeah.
right, what did everyone else get?
Fully fo
I
So high
failed. I
high
rolled 8
succeeded.
over.
Okay, all right. Um, yeah, Eden, I think you're still kind of fixated on Dr. Grimes, trying to get a sense of whatever it is that is eating at him. If he's showing any further signs of distress, he's not showing it now. He is just chatting with other members of the Buttermore family. He's seated near them, speaking with young Edwina and Duncan and with Aaron Baron Buttermore. And what did Mary get?
A nat 20. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Mary fails. I will say Mary does have the affliction of impatient. So
Yeah.
feel free to blame that whenever you want of why Mary is fucking up. So,
hmm Yeah, I think just the even having grown up amongst it, the tiresome formality of these things, like it interrupted the fun bit, you know?
exactly.
Right.
It's so much
And everyone and
harder to
everyone and
cause
everyone's
trouble
so
when
much
you're
more
all seated
polite
at the
around the dinner
table.
table.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hyacinthus, however, I think there are two things that jump out to you that near the Buttermores, actually near uh the old man that you picked out earlier, whom we now know as Dr. Grimes. There is a place setting with an empty chair. Uh,
Hmm.
also, um, most people are tucking into their various meals and drink. Um, but one guest appears to have not touched their food so far. And that is Thorsten.
Thorsten has not touched his food. Hmm. Did I perchance overhear any of this man's aversion to daylight?
Um, sure.
Sure. Okay. Um, I'm gonna just kind of keep an eye on him, see if he does in fact eat anything. Um, how far away from me is he seated? Or are we perhaps seated next to one another, both
You
being
are you're in the section for fascinating guests. So
Oh,
you're
okay.
not I think it's probably such that you can't like eagle-eyed watch him because you're on the same side of the table. That would be a little
Mhm.
bit obvious. Um he does appear at to sip at his wine and pokes at some of the squash and the apples, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, the main course, the venison, um, seems to be studiously avoiding.
Okay. But is he actually putting food in his mouth and eating?
It looks like, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. But avoiding the venison. Interesting. Okay. Interesting for a Finn or a Norwegian. Uh the uh Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on that, sort of maintaining conversation with people, telling my own stories, ghost stories that definitely didn't happen to me. That time that somebody I know, who got attacked in the moors by uh, uh, some beastie with long horrible claws and things like that, talking about this as he's talking about fighting off this horrible creature, and the wounds that it left on this man. His arm, this shirt sleeve kind of comes up and you see the exact same scars he's talking about, like on his own arm. He pulls the sleeve down and continues sort of just telling people these stories. If people aren't interested in kind of the adventure horror stories, he'll talk about something else. But uh, uh, Ada started it.
Oh, yeah, I feel like Ada would absolutely be seated near you. Yeah, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
started the confusion with the pronunciation.
Oh no, it's all good. Uh, uh, Ada Mensa is one of the main characters in the Murderbot Diaries. So,
Ah, okay.
uh, but Ada, yeah, Ada started the story with all of that, and High will happily continue. One moment.
Yes, and I think the Baron Aaron Buttermore up at the head of the table is like, I see we've entered into our ghost stories a bit early this evening. There'll be plenty of time for that later, so don't fire them all off too soon. And I'm not sure if everyone has been fully introduced, just going around the table, introducing the family members, introducing uh, Lynn, introducing Persephone, uh, various around the table. Uh, and how are people finding this Christmas tide season? I would like to personally propose a toast and raise his glass to family, to friends, to good cheer, to goodwill towards men. Does everyone participate in the toast?
Yes, because it means Mary
Sure.
gets to drink wine.
Yeah.
She's 18. She's been drinking wine forever, probably, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's still in that getting drunk is fun phase.
Mhm. Well then, since our guests seem so eager, perhaps we shall adjourn to the parlor to begin this evening's ghost stories. And I think as everyone is in the process of doing that and adjourning, I think we are going to go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break for everyone. So don't go away. We will be back with more of the events at Mistletoe Manor. And we are back. Everybody for sticking with us here as we head into the second part of the events at Mistletoe Manor. The assorted guests at Baron Buttermore's holiday party have adjourned to the sitting room to begin the ghost stories. Uh, who's volunteering to do ghost stories?
Okay, listen. While I am playing a novelist, I did not actually write a ghost story.
No, that's fine. You don't actually have to do. You don't actually have to like recite a whole ghost story. I mean, whose
Uh-huh.
character would volunteer to do ghost stories?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think probably at the same time, likely Hyacinth, you would kind of be badgered by a couple of the guests, probably by actually by young Edwina Buttermore. It's like, oh, Mr. Owens, please, you simply must tell us of your travels. Uh, and likewise, you, Mr. Thorsten.
I
Uh,
would be happy to.
all right, so it appears the lineup is Ada, um, Mr. Owens, Mr. Thorsten, and then also Dr. Grimes also has been sort of somewhat reluctantly press ganged by the Buttermore clan into regaling with a macabre tale. So, Anna, just going to what are the cliff notes? What are the highlights of your ghost story?
So my mind, being from where we're from, immediately went to the Talipo story. Do you know that one?
Super don't. So please enlighten me.
Oh man, it is this dog-like creature with an extremely long tail, and a hunter cuts off its tail one night, and it basically haunts the dude until he kills it, I think. Or, but the very creepy thing is Taily Poe, Taily Poe. Now I've got my Taily Poe. It's a very creepy story to tell around a campfire. It's from Appalachia.
Oh, interesting. I'm surprised I don't know it.
Hmm.
All right. So do you have any sort of like performance check related to your novelist profession?
I have a +1 to my profession,
Okay.
so I'm assuming that that's what that would
Yeah,
be.
let's call it a charisma check at a +1.
Okay. So I have to be below a 12, or is it
12
12
or
or
below.
lower?
12 or below. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I don't like or trust any of my dice, and I still don't because that's a nat 20.
Yeah, join the
It
Nat
was
20
almost a
crowd.
2.
And I think that there's something about just the particularly like the dog and the tail, like there's
Mhm.
too many details. It seems like people are kind of drifting a little bit. They're not super engaged. um
Mhm.
and Mr. Owens, what do you think of the your topic of discussion?
I think Hyacinthus is going to tell a story about is going to tell a vampire story.
Okay.
I think he's going to tell a story about um, a vampire that he fought in the belly of a cargo ship. You know, they like that kind of place. It's dark. It's underneath things. It's low down, and there's plenty of passengers to feed on, and nobody notices. Nobody notices when somebody poor, somebody down in steerage goes missing. Nobody cares. So he tells a story about the vampire preying on a ship and how uh, a friend of his,
Oh yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Someone I
uh,
know. Yeah.
uh, uh, stabbed it with a stake of mistletoe stake and threw it off the side. It was actually Rowan, but he's adding
For the
local color.
audience. Yeah,
Local color. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and give me a charisma check.
Sure, I'll take a charisma check. I have some of that. Not the worst stat I've got. It's also a nat 20.
Any other time.
Any other time, any other time,
We're
people are just
cursed.
not into ghost stories tonight. I
Yeah.
think the thing is that we're like going off of each other's vibe, and nobody
Mhm.
else has the vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Also with Ada, she's very much like um not socially aware, I would say. And so she's just like, yes, there are people who like these and we're told to tell ghost stories, so here's a really, really gory story for you.
I think Hyacinthus is like, oh well, here's another story. It's
Mhm.
and like just absolutely very similarly is like catching your vibe and not anybody else's in the room.
And I think
And
with
so
that,
like we think we're really cool.
I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
also Mary got to the point where she got bored, and so like she and
Yes.
Persephone are like loudly gossiping and giggling in the corner and just absolutely wrecking the appropriate vibe of like the scary ghost story nonsense.
Love that.
and I think both Mary and Eden, go ahead and give me a wisdom check.
That is a failure.
That's a failure for me too.
Okay. Yeah.
We're
No,
not
I
a
think
smart group.
there's just yeah.
No.
It's
I chose wisdom as my dump stat.
The dice are telling a
Mine
story
is it's
tonight,
not
and the
even a bad
story is
stat.
we're
I
all
just
bad
rolled a
at it.
17.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. The vibe is kind of in tatters. There's just kind of just a lot of like chaos as people kind of breaking off into like smaller groups of conversations. Thorsten does get his turn up at in the big chair, and he tells a tale of the companions of Saint Nicholas, the Krampus, the Perschnickel, the Black Pater, who will carry wicked children away to toil in the black heart of the world, where Nicholas mines the wages of sin. Not that many people are paying attention.
Ada is audibly and visibly yawning and taking a sip of like a brandy or something.
Hmm.
I'm watching this creeper. I'm watching
Yeah.
this creeper. I think he's creepy. Did he make a face in my vampire story? Or was
Make
he
a wisdom
also
check.
bored? Ooh, a wisdom check. I'm gonna use this die. I haven't used this one yet. Let's give it a chance to disappoint me. Failed. 15.
Guys, we're Brendan. It's like I don't know how many more chances I could give you guys to
We
know
are
this
all failing
plot hook.
all of the
Come
checks.
on.
Yeah, this is embarrassing.
I think
The problem
there's
is,
been what, 2 successes?
We're gonna get
okay,
through this
let me
entire
take
Christmas
yo.
event, and none of us are gonna like clock that anything is going on. We're all just gonna go
Yeah.
home the next
What a
day.
lovely
Sure, guys.
Christmas party.
I have sharp eyes though. Do I get if I can use my plus
Oh,
3 on
yeah.
this?
Actually, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and
Okay.
give a +3. Will that make
Okay.
it a success?
Yes, if I use
Okay.
a plus
Yeah,
3
yeah.
means I meet it. Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, thinking back, yeah, talking about your vampire story, that particularly both Thorsten and Grimes, both amongst the crowd of generally very disengaged people, seem to be two of the only people who were really like locked in. for your story. And as you are keeping just a very close eye on Thorsten, you notice that most folks similarly are disengaged, but this time it is Baron Buttermore who seems oddly locked in, very focused and enraptured on the story with a somewhat inscrutable expression on his face.
On Thorsten's story?
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
But after it's over, he sort of recomposes himself. And it's like, and oh, Dr. Grimes, please, please, if you would. And Grimes proceeds to tell a horrid tale of a man awakening in the middle of his own vivisection, supposedly based on a true tale of a colleague of his at Edinburgh Medical College. Yeah, that does like the the sheer grisliness of it does get a bit of a reaction from the assembled crowd who are just like,
Yeah.
oh goodness,
Does
oh
this does this have the same, like, someone who isn't me vibe as my
yes,
story? Yeah,
it
okay.
definitely does. No, this happened to a friend of his. He tells it in that
Cool.
way that you have told enough of these stories that you're like,
Mm.
oh no, this is something that absolutely happened
You
to him.
you did not check if that guy was dead first.
Yes, yeah,
You
Oh,
you
no.
fucked up.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, gross.
Hmm. And sensing that people just aren't really vibing with the ghost stories this year, Baron Buttermore quickly moves on to people exchanging gifts. Everyone had a secret person to give a gift to. Not everyone, like people who were just like fascinating guests, they were not necessarily expected to bring anything because they don't know anybody.
Right.
Um, but members of the family, of the community, um, had gifts tucked away for people underneath the tree. Um, Mary, out of curiosity, like who do you think you got as far as a gift giving person?
Um,
No wrong answers.
I was going to say, Edwina.
Edwina, yeah.
And I was doing a quick Google to be like, I feel like the sort of thing Mary would do would be to give Edwina like a scandalous book.
Uh huh.
A la, and I was looking up the publication date of the first one that came to mind was Lady Chatterley's Lover, but that
Hmm.
came too late.
A
But
little
that's
bit
the
too late.
vibe I'm thinking of, like
The
something
vibe,
where it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, like this is not appropriate for like a young lady to be reading, sort of thing. But it's just a book. What's wrong with just giving a book to my dear cousin? Like,
No, and
because Mary is absolutely trying to like needle at Edwina, who she finds very boring, with something a little more exciting.
mhm, yeah, and I think you notice that Edwina starts to tear away the paper and notices the title and very quickly sort of like folds it back over again, which is interesting to you that she recognized the title
Ah,
and she just
I
sort of
saw
kind of
that.
tucks it back aside into her chair and just sort of kind of sits back up again. Uh,
Oh, Edwina, I hope the book that I got you isn't one you already have, is it?
it's from you. How delightful.
Mm.
No, I cannot say that I have read it. Why? Um,
Mm? Oh, it's just something that I thought it might be educational for you.
I see. Well, truth be told, I know I haven't read it, but I have heard of it.
Mm.
Um, Father does love his rare books, and while he does not have it in his collection, I happened to be speaking with the book dealer the last time that he came out, and he recommended it. I
To
was sure that I
you.
was never going to be able to get my hands on a copy without Father knowing, but it seems that Saint Nicholas has delivered.
Well, maybe I might need the name of your bookseller in the near future to be able to
Oh,
get additional uh, copies for friends and such.
yes, of course, yes, that would be Mr. Alistair.
Sure.
And go ahead and give me a quick intelligence check, Mary.
That's a pass.
Okay.
Like I succeed.
You just have the surname, a Mr. Alistair. So you don't know if it's the same person, but you have heard the name Mr. Alistair in sort of the seedier scene that you occasionally run in. Someone who's involved in a variety of just unseemly practices. Um, you have heard that he lays with both women and men. You also have heard that he dabbles in the occult.
Oh my.
And with that in mind, sort of interesting that a generally proper gentleman such as your uncle would be sourcing his books from such an individual.
Also interesting that Edwina would be the one interacting with him and getting
Hmm.
recommendations for such books from Mr. Alistair.
And I think it is just
She
sort of
makes a mental note to come back to this later and like force Edwina to give her more information when everybody else isn't here.
and I think it is just as sort of you are filing that away that there is the sound of a haggard moan of anguish. And there's a brief sort of tittering and kerfuffling about the room. Um, it appears that Lady Buttermore, Edwina's mother, Bridget Buttermore, uh, has fainted rather abruptly.
Um, is she all right?
Oh,
I
we've got
will
Is like jingling and jangling over to check.
I will go also and check as a resident doctor.
Sure, yeah. Eden, give me an intelligence check.
Ooh. Um, Intelligence, that's a success.
Okay. She appears to be fine. She's just rather pale, and it seems as if she's suffered a severe and unexpected shock. Um, you notice she has something clutched in her hand, and almost just like a vice like grip.
Are you all right? What are you holding?
She is passed out.
Oh, she's still out.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try to pry her hand open and see what that is.
Can
Uh,
Ada help?
it gives slowly, and it's a crumpled bit of wrapping paper. I guess like from a gift that she received. And in the middle of the wrapping paper, its contents appears to be a ring.
Hmm.
Um, this is Kian's lack of knowledge. Is it Lord Buttermore? Is it Mr. Buttermore? How would I address him?
Actually, I'm not positive what the proper form of address for a baron is off the top of my head. We'll go with Lord.
Okay.
We'll pretend it's
Uh,
Lord.
I will take the ring and turn to Lord Buttermore. I'm sorry, Lord Buttermore, does this mean anything to you?
Lord Buttermore takes a look at the ring in your hand, and he uh Actually, I'm just gonna give me a wisdom check.
That's a success.
Okay.
Finally.
Uh, he examines it, but something about it, like it seems like there's a little bit of showmanship of his examining it. You get the sense that he definitely recognizes what this ring is, but he is trying to appear as though he does not. It's I'm not sure. It's looks like oh, thank you so much for the follow. So happy to have you. Love the winter. Um, uh, it's I'm sure a trifle of no consequence. I think. Um, you, Eden, having had a chance to look at the ring, it looks a lot like a Buttermore signet ring. Uh, the imprint on the front appears to be the Buttermore family seal. Um, it's I. It looks like it might be a stamp from escaped from my study,
Yeah,
perhaps.
Justin,
had
fucking
fun.
grip it and rip it, baby. Slop that down, dude. Shit, yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
Thank you so much for the donation, Rouge. Um, in fact, I'm gonna go ahead. So so we've had like what three donations this stream. I think I'm gonna
Yep.
make those a
Mhm.
pool of advantage points that people can use. I think is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do right there. Yeah.
Got to do something to make up for these dice
Yeah,
rolls
Please.
I think that's the vibe.
because you've got limited time to lead us to the plot.
Yep. And uh okay. So yes, it looks like yeah, a stamp to escape from my study. Perhaps I'm not sure how it would have ended up under the Christmas tree.
And
Um,
certainly nothing the lady should be fainting over.
I would not think so. Um, he is going to reach to take the ring from you. Are you going to let him?
No. Um, I will say, I'll hold on to this for now and make sure the lady gets it when she's awake. Let me see if I can find some smelling salts. And like without pausing, giving a chance, I'm gonna try to get up and try to go find something.
Zoop. Okay. Yeah, you were able to sort of slip away in the press. He tries to follow you, but is unable to maneuver around the crowd of people around Lady Buttermore without making it quite apparent that he is doing so, and he visibly does not wish to cause a scene. Uh,
So just a visual that I was having in my mind is that names that Eden and Ada had both gone over to her together, even though Ada has absolutely no clue what to do doctor wise. Like I feel like she would have like bent down to the ground and like pillowed uh Lady Buttermore's head in her lap to like make sure that she was comfortable.
and I think Lady Buttermore does start to come to slowly, and somewhat delirious, looking around, and just says,
Mm.
Aaron, he's he's here, Aaron.
Aaron.
I feel." Aaron is Baron Buttermore's first name. This
Okay.
is Aaron. He's here, Aaron.
Who's here?
I
She's like patting her head with like uh oh words not a napkin, a handkerchief. There we go. English. A handkerchief like that she'd pulled from her dress. It's just like
mhm.
patting her.
She is addressing you as if you are the Baron. She does not seem to fully be aware of where she is yet. It's Cullen. I know it's Cullen. He's, I feel him. I feel him staring at me. I feel
Would
his eyes upon us, Aaron.
Hearing that,
Mm.
I was gonna say, would Mary recognize the name? Because I'm assuming this is the missing son from the portrait. considering if
Yes,
it is,
I
that would be
think
Mary's cousin.
yes. I'm gonna actually. So, Mary, give me an intelligence check. I'll give you advantage for because you're family. This is
Okay.
slightly this is information they keep close to the chest, but
Right.
you are family, and so you are more likely to know it. You have advantage.
I know. You said it was intelligence?
Intelligence, yes.
Okay, yes, we managed. If it had been wisdom, it would not have been a success.
Good, good.
Mm.
All right, yes. Cullen is a name that you know, but you also know never to say it.
Mhm.
Um, Cullen is their actually is their actually I think I got the arrangement of the ages wrong earlier when I was describing it. Cullen is actually their oldest son. Um, it goes Cullen, Duncan, Edwina. Um, Cullen is their oldest son. And when he was an older preteen, there was apparently an accident of some kind. Sleigh accident. You heard, though you've heard different things. You also have heard that he got sick. Took a fever one winter, and he passed suddenly. And it's always been a very painful subject for the family, and don't they don't speak of him. Um, although you now are putting that together with some details from earlier that you do recall, yeah, that there's always that place set um, at the Christmas feast, and that is usually set aside for Cullen
Okay.
in sort of remembrance.
And if Colin were with us today, roughly how old would he be?
So this was roughly 15 years ago. Um,
So like
would have been not
late
long after the
20s,
portrait
young
was painted.
30s?
So he would probably be probably approximately 28 ish.
Okay.
You
Now,
know,
out of
just yeah.
curiosity, for Ada, being a naturally skeptical person and one who leans towards the macabre, would she know of any ghost stories about the region? And could I do an intelligence roll for her remembering that?
Hmm. Sure, go ahead.
It's, this means that I need to roll 18 or lower because of naturally skeptical.
Nat 20, nat 20.
Rolled a fucking 19.
Rouge.
Yeah, there are a number of
Yep.
of phantom and fairy stories from around the region, but none of them that would seem immediate to your current circumstance.
I
I
think
have
Mary
yet
would
to roll
approach though and just be
successfully.
like, and Bridget, Colin Colin isn't can't be here. Colin died.
And Mary sort of grips your hand, and she says, No, Aaron. He And then at that moment, she kind of comes back to herself a little bit more and realizes that she's talking to you, and just cuts off what she's saying. And it's just, I'm so sorry. I took leave of my senses. May I just may take my leave of you for this evening. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what's come over me. Um, please. And there's a servant that comes to escort her away from the party and upstairs.
I think High is gonna, he's listening. He's nosy, so he's being nosy. But I think he's gonna go over to Thorsten and say, "Telling that story about what did you call him? Black Potter? What did you say the name was?"
The companions of Saint Nicholas. They are versions from across the dark places of the continent. They are horned wild men.
And what,
They watch over us even now. And you see him gesture to the lintels.
what happens to those children, those naughty children that get taken away by these companions?
It is said that they toil,
And
digging forth the black stone, the coal, which Nicholas delivers to the unrighteous.
hmm, uh, he laughs without really any humor and is like, I reckon everybody I grew up with must have been quite a bad child in that case. Now, where is it said that, is it said ever what happens to those children who might escape? Or how might one effect escape?
If they were to escape, they would be lost in the vastness, the great icy domain of Saint Nicholas. Indeed, most naughty children, they receive only coal, the coal mined by the damned souls brought by Krampus. For you see, it is not enough simply to be a wicked child. Krampus must be summoned.
Interesting. You interest me exceedingly, Mr. Thorsten.
Give me a quick wisdom check.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Can I add sharp eyes to this, or is this just vibes and not something I'm necessarily looking at?
In this case, I am going to call it just vibes.
Nope. I don't get it. Roll the 12. I have a 9 in wisdom.
Yeah,
It's
that
it's
it's
just
fair.
a it's just
It's
gonna be rough
fair.
to roll under.
He's a tough guy to read, Thorsten.
I am. I've met my share of uh just absolute po-faced individuals, and this guy has absolutely taken the cake.
Eden, where were you scurrying off to with the ring?
I was going to excuse myself to try to go find smelling salts, and I'll kind of just pause outside of the room and kind of inspect the ring closer, see if there's anything that looks um like if there's any kind of inscription or anything like that on the ring.
There is an inscription on the inside of the ring, and it says "Merry Christmas," and in the inside, there is a name. The name is Cullen.
Okay.
While
Um
you're going to the trying to find some spelling salts, I'm assuming you might be going out to the kitchen area, the
yeah.
pantry. Um, give me one of those whiz checks.
Okay. That's a success. My one dice is really working for me.
Yay!
The You don't find any smelling salts in the kitchen, unfortunately. It was kind of a long shot, but it's always possible. Um, but coming back, the plates from the feast have not actually been bussed yet. I think they were in the process of starting when the Baroness had her spell, and that's just sort of distracted everyone. You notice that the personless place setting uh, has been disturbed.
As in somebody has shifted it, or is there something on the plate, or
Uh, One of the forks is set upon the plate, and it looks as though some of the food has been eaten.
Interesting. Okay. Um, I will take note of that. Is there a way, wherever we were telling ghost stories, is there a way to come in to where I would be at the back of the Baron so he doesn't see me re-enter the room?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a big enough house. There's multiple entryways to the sitting room, so that people can sort of enter one way and exit the other.
Okay, cool. Then I will
And at
go back
present,
around.
yes, the Baron has his back to you. Um, and but you do notice someone does notice you and has fixed you in a stare, and it is Dr. Grimes.
Um, I don't know if they did this in the 1800s, but I'm gonna kind of do that jerk of your head where you kind of nudge him over to follow you into the other room.
Okay. And yeah, Grimes will saunter out into the hall with you,
What is going on,
my
Doctor?
friend. My friend, what do you have there?
I will procure the ring.
This you took this from Lady Buttermore?
Yes, she was holding it in her hand when she fainted.
I that makes I do not understand.
Do you know who this is? This Cullen? I imagine I kind of like loosely heard
Yeah,
what was being said, but I was stepping away, so
Cullen was the eldest son of the Buttermores. He passed suddenly some 15 years ago, or so it is said.
do you have any idea why somebody would want to give the lady his ring?
15 years ago, I was already the Buttermore's friend and physician, though I will not pretend that it was pure charity on my part. I went to the cemetery seeking that very ring amongst other baubles and trifles to pay my debts. When I dug the frozen earth from young Master Cullen's grave, I found it empty.
Surely somebody must have taken the body and put it somewhere.
There was not even a coffin, merely a headstone over unturned earth.
Well, it seems that the young master has decided to pay his visits then.
I, in my frustration, I sank further pits around the cemetery, searching for where they may have hidden him. I did not find him, but I did find a pauper's grave. I recognized some of the faces. Former servants of the Buttermores who had passed peacefully, I'd been told, though that was not what the state of their bodies portended.
So the Buttermores are dismissing their servants and hiding the death of one of their sons. Supposed death, at least.
I do not know what has transpired since, but that is what I discovered that night. Be careful, Eden. You are treading upon powerful secrets.
Understood. Thank you, Doctor. I am gonna try to sneak in and find Mr. Owens if I can get to him quietly.
Yeah, Hi is talking quietly with Thorsten.
Oh,
Uh,
lovely. Two people who might have an idea of, well, stories that you shared seemed to incline that you were both travelers and have seen a number of things.
Seen a thing or two, maybe even three.
This belongs to the rumored dead son of the Buttermores, and I'll hand over the ring.
Sort of look at it to find ring. Cullen, what I will hand it to Thorsten to look over as well. What information are you expecting to glean from such a device?
Well, I have recently been informed that it is likely he is not actually dead,
Oh,
and I'm wondering if there is someone hiding about this house playing a rather cruel prank on the lady.
I could look about.
I would be very appreciative.
Um, you seem familiar with that doctor. Is he a
He's
good man?
The doctor has mentored me for a time. He's always been very respectable and has taken an interest in my work.
All right. Huh. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go just take some look seeing around the house. See if I can find anything, sort of file away that relationship in the back of my head. Um,
Cool. And as you're doing that, we're going to cut briefly back over to Mary and Ada. What are you guys doing?
Well, Ada did have the ant's head in her lap, and then she's gone, and so she would be left there with Mary, looking at her because she heard the whole conversation and is very curious. You're muted. There. We go.
Yeah, I was. Don't worry, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I was taking stock.
I'm must admit I am a little bit intrigued.
It has to be someone found this old ring tucked away somewhere, and maybe it was a misguided gift. It doesn't make sense. Colin is dead. Colin's been dead since I was a small child. Honestly, I have barely any memories of him, but everybody told me he died like maybe 15 years ago.
Were you living here at the time?
No, I had visited, but my parents live with my parents elsewhere most of the time. But I mean,
Hmm.
why would anybody lie about the death of their son? That would be crazy.
Hmm. Why indeed? And why are
But
they saying that he's back now?
it has to be Aunt Bridget. All these ghost stories. She's just
Hmm.
being fanciful. It's it can't possibly he can't possibly be here. And we don't look. We don't talk about it, so they're not going to tell you anything. But
Hmm.
just know it has to be something that I'm sure they're going to go back to sweeping under the rug, and by tomorrow, no one else will be talking about it. So I suggest you don't either, unless you want to be in trouble with my uncle.
I have no concerns about being in trouble with your uncle. I'm just curious about the story.
Well, you should. He might look nice, but that's one of the few times that I brought up something where he truly lost his temper with me. So it gets scary.
Interesting.
And speaking of Baron Aaron Buttermore, the jolly old soul is trying to regain control of the proceedings with his a booming voice. He says, "Please, please, Bridget would want us to continue the festivities. Let us not turn our minds to darkness in times such as these. Come on, come, come. We have prepared the cider for the wassail. Everyone bundle up." And he and Duncan and the servants are going to be sort of herding people outside, grabbing their coats and their boots. Uh, is Owen trying to sneak into the deeper into the house?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
100%, 100%. I think Owen, I think Owens is like, uh, he doesn't look upper class. I feel like it's
Hmm.
not too hard to like slip away among. Though frankly, he doesn't look like a house servant either.
Yeah,
But
I will
yeah,
give your choice of stat for the deception to try to slip away.
hmm. Honestly, I think what I'm gonna go with here is probably charisma.
Okay.
Just in a, I'm so sorry. I forgot something over here. Oh no, wait, it was over there. Oh no, wait. And just kind of like
I'll
hang.
say.
I say, like, just kind of like uh turning people's attention away from him in that
Sure.
way.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a charisma check.
Alrighty. Well, finally, I rolled a 2.
Sick.
Great.
Yay!
Yay. So it's a pass.
You are, yeah, able to slip away, slip through the dragnet of servants, and go deeper into the house. What are you looking for?
I think what I'm kind of looking for is um I'm looking for as I go deeper into the house, away specifically from the party areas, I'm kind of looking for evidence of like people where they shouldn't be. Like, if this is a kind of an old manor house, then there's rooms that don't often get opened. So I'm looking for that kind of thing. I'm looking for like uh, evidence of like secret passages. I'm sort of looking for um I don't know this house.
Mhm.
So right now, I kind of don't know what I'm looking for
Right.
specifically. I'm
I
kind
hear
of
what you're
just
saying.
looking.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I think you're sneaking up the stairs, and you're noticing this continuing theme of, yeah, the mistletoe and the wild men,
Mhm,
um, in the filigree and the baseboards and the lintels and everything, the decorative features, carved painstakingly into the wood.
mhm.
And
This is I do know a thing or two about architecture and the legend and sort of the mythology and representations of those things. This is upsettingly sexual. This is just like that's just like really aggressively just sexual. Okay.
but I think you do notice a door that is slightly ajar. You know a little bit about sneaking around.
Yeah.
Um, Something about the way that it's just kind of partially cocked. It's almost like someone was trying to close it very, very quietly, but
Mhm.
in so doing, it didn't actually quite latch it properly, and so it popped open again.
Okay. I'm going to stand outside, probably like on the other side over at the hinge side and listen for a moment. Just to make sure that before I go in, if it's just some people who've snuck away to go have a liaison while everyone else is outside, that I'm not like busting in on that. That's none of my business, consenting adults, so
So
on and so
you do hear sounds not from this room but from another room. It seems as though someone Persephone has snuck off uh, for a dalliance. But they are
Mhm,
in another room.
mhm.
They are not in the room that you are potentially exploring.
Okay, okay. Do I hear anything coming from this room?
You don't.
Okay. Then I am going to sneaky slip inside.
You appear to have found yourself in a combination study and library.
Hmm. I would like to roll with sharp eyes to notice anything occult.
Yes, go ahead. I'll even let you add +1 for your demonology skill, even though that's not really
Yeah.
what it's used for.
Well, it's not what it's used for.
Yeah.
The yeah. Do 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 do. So yeah. And is this intelligence?
Yeah, let's go with intelligence.
Intelligence. Okay. So okay. Oh wait, no, I get the thing. Okay, so yeah, I rolled a 13 and I needed a 14. So I'm
Okay,
good.
Yay!
very cool. So you looking around
Mhm.
and you don't see anything just like obviously out on the shelves. That's all pretty straightforward. There are account books, there are travel logs, um, there are books on agriculture. Um, but you also are somewhat used to poking around looking for forbidden tomes, and usually they're not just stuck out somewhere. Uh, Usually they've got like a little hidden compartment somewhere where
Mhm.
they would secret those away. And sure enough, like there's a pretty obvious spot, like a decorative feature that you're like, that seems like a good place you would hide some hidden books behind. And yeah, lo and behold, you can feel around, and there is a latch that gives, and opening up, there is a couple of shelves with other books on them.
Mm.
They are books on like old local legends, old pagan rites, old uh, forbidden and occult rituals.
I'm going to I'm gonna look just sort of glance through them, sort of briefly sort of like pull them down the bookshelf and see which one of them have like bookmarks or are more
Hmm.
clearly like had been dog-eared or something like
Yeah,
that.
there
And the
are
one
some
that
that
is the most clearly leafed through and read, I'm gonna pull off the shelf.
yeah there are several that have little silk bookmarks in them. Opening them, they describe sort of the consecration of a space as sort of a temple to the old powers. Um, uh, Rituals for fecundity to banish barrenness. Um, Rituals to ensure good harvest, especially of apples.
Mhm, mhm,
To
mhm,
ensure good fortune in business.
mhm.
Um, give me just a quick intelligence check.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, none of this is jumping out to high as like a oh, this is a bad, bad man. It's just like, oh, you just got yourself wrapped up in some kind of new age nonsense, didn't you? Oh, it's a 3.
As you were kind of just pulling all the pieces together, there is sort of and some of the warnings surrounding the uh the use of the rituals, because there are notations from previous owners of the books, as well as some notations in what looked to be more recent hand. And and based on like some dates that are jotted down, it looks as though the house was consecrated as a temple to the old powers as part of its restoration,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
in order to ensure fecundity, both of the apple harvest as well as the line of Buttermore. Uh, but there are always a cost with these things.
Of course.
Uh, there is always the possibility that one of the children so produced might be unnatural.
Hmm.
And another ritual that you do find in the back of one of the books uh, is a ritual for summoning a wild man, summoning a creature of the outer ice to
Take
carry
away
someone away.
take away an unnatural child. Okay. I'm gonna do one last quick like riffle through and see if there's anything I really, really ultra want to be avoiding about this wassailing trip I'm about to go on. Um, cause it's not like High hasn't planted by the signs and stuff like that, or buried an antler upside down in the corner of his garden, like you do shit.
Yeah.
But
The wassailing itself seems to be fairly benign.
okay.
There is a um there is a ritual component to it that you know from folk magic and being,
Mm,
something you know a practicing cunning man on occasion. Um
mhm.
that element is itself, while mystical, fairly benign.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. In that case, I am going to steal this book and leave.
Cool. So while you are off sculling your duggars,
Mhm.
we will pick up with Eden and Mary and Ada, who've been
420 sculling my duggars every day.
sculling my duggars every day. Uh, Heard outside to commence with the wassailing as people sort of break
Mm.
off into groups, handed a wassail bowl and some candles, and peeling off to go caroling through the orchard. I'm going to say the three of you have sort of stuck together in a group.
Mhm.
There
Does
are
wassailing mean caroling? I don't actually know this.
so they sing songs.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
I'm using the term somewhat interchangeably. They're not
Mhm.
100% similar, but
Okay.
there is cross pollination between the two
Okay.
traditions.
Okay.
It's not Christmas trick or treating because if you go
Yeah,
wassailing in front of somebody's house and they don't give you beer, you're allowed to like mess with their house.
yeah, and this is sort of a
Wait, is
parallel
that the
tradition specifically for orchards where you wassail the
okay.
trees.
Mm,
You go and you sing to the trees and you pour out some cider on their roots uh, to ensure a good harvest. And people will also wear like fun costumes and dance around the trees and stuff like that.
I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, it's more so a thing in southern England, but I did some research and at least the research I was able to find, not unknown in Scotland either.
Cool.
And also specifically in this region of Scotland, which I did way too much research for this. Uh,
Mood.
and So I think Otto will be very pleased to note that it appears only the house has been wired for electricity, and only the house has the electrical
Excellent.
Christmas lights on the outside. The orchard is, by comparison, quite dark, lit only by a candle and lantern carried
Mm.
by the various wassailing groups. And being thus presented with your lanterns and your wassail bowl, as other groups are peeling off into the forest, you can start hearing some songs being sung, carried on the winter wind. What are the three of you doing?
Mm.
I feel like we sort of fell in together because we're still talking about
Yeah,
the the
Absolutely.
scene from indoors. So we're sort of like walking in, but like we're not really bothering to sing. We're more still like chatting about
Mm.
whatever details, Mary can provide about the history of like what happened with Colin and why no one talks about it and all of that. As much as, you know, half remembered things from a girl who would have been about 3 or so
3.
when it happened, and like then like little bits and pieces that have she's overheard or intuited over the
Mhm.
years.
Now, you say you were told that he died. Did they ever tell you how he died?
There was an accident, but also he died of a fever. I
Hmm.
it's it's both vague. So I suppose uh, he might have been in an accident, and then when they brought him in, he then fell sick and died from the fever that came after,
Hmm.
or someone might have gotten it wrong, and maybe the accident was separate and then the fever, or maybe the fever was then and then that's why he died in the accident because he was already weak, or they weren't they don't really like to talk about it. So no one's been
Hmm.
very clear about how it happened, but he would have only been a child still, so
Interesting. Did he I understand that you were young, but was there anything odd about him?
not I I was he was like 10 years older than me. I didn't
Hmm.
really spend much time around him.
You never know.
Can I do a roll to see if Mary remembers anything particularly upsetting about him?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Go give me just an intelligence check.
Failure.
Hmm.
No, I don't remember anything.
Yeah,
He
he was
was
just so
just
much older than you, and you only visited a couple times while he was alive. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
I and then no one talked about him, so it's not like I really
Hmm.
ever um heard anything, but I got the impression, and feel free to decide that I am absolutely pulling this out of nowhere and this is not canon. I got the impression that like Duncan and Edwina weren't very fond of him.
Hmm. Well,
Like
that's the
I don't know
no,
how
go ahead.
much they actually miss him.
Hmm. I'm curious if he's the eldest, and perhaps they don't really remember him much either, much like you.
Well, but they would have grown up with him.
Of course, but if you're a child, then like such as Edwina was the youngest, I believe,
yes.
then memories are foggy at the best.
Speaking of Duncan, you actually momentarily hear in amongst the sound of distant songs being sung a raised voice. Sounds almost like a shout. Um, it sounds kind of like Duncan.
Well, that's concerning.
We should, I guess, go find out what that is.
Of course.
You
Run
start
towards the danger.
you start walking towards where you heard this raised shout come from. You do see a light of a lantern, um a pinprick of light that you are approaching from that direction. Though as you get closer, you see that light snuff out and you hear the sound of shattering glass.
Oh, now I'm very concerned.
Everyone
I
make me a
have
wisdom check.
I have bells in my dress. I am not very sneaky.
Am I making a
Alright.
wisdom check too? Am I on my way
No,
out
just the three of
here?
them
Or
out there. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of figured,
I
but
pass.
I continue to fail by 1.
That is a failure.
Okay. Uh, only to you do you pick this up. Maybe because Mary, you know his voice more. You're able to pick it out. You hear, kind of carried on the wind, a bit of a snippet of conversation that sounds like Duncan saying, "I was a child. I didn't know. I. What do you want? Do you want money? Please, however much you want, I'll give it to you."
Something it's Duncan and he's not alone. Someone I think he's being threatened.
Well, should we go help him out?
I don't know how much we can help, but I certainly want to know what's going on. I say we go for it, and Mary's going to start sneaking closer.
Okay.
I blow out the lantern.
Sneaking
You.
is one of my
Yeah.
abilities, so
All right. Good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. In that case, since that's one of your things, go ahead and give me a sneak check. Dexterity plus whatever you would get for sneaking.
yeah.
Oh, no. Would Eden
I
and
still
I also
failed
be
though.
rolling this?
Do you want to use one of your advantages in the pool? We have 3 advantage in the pool currently.
Do it. Do
I'll
it. Let's have
try,
some
but
success in
honestly,
this.
because my dex is so low, it's at best 50-50.
Hmm.
I fail again, so
Okay. You cringe crunch through the underbrush uh and peer down into this clearing, and you see uh someone slumped against a tree.
do I recognize this someone?
Peering through the darkness, you think it's Duncan.
Duncan? Duncan, it's Mary, and she's just gonna like walk up to the body because Mary has no survival instincts because she has lived an
Mhm.
actually pretty sheltered life.
You call out to Duncan. Duncan does not answer you. You reach forth to try to shake him.
Hell
Uh,
yeah, I do.
he is ice cold to the touch.
Oh.
Mary will like jerk her hand back and be like, "That's oh God, I he's like frozen. We need help to get him back in the house or something, or I don't know."
The other two of you can catch up at this point.
Yeah. And I
Like
would
she's calling
throw
back
off
over
my
her shoulder
cloak.
Yeah.
to them for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw off my cloak, wrap it around him. Um, Dr. Bell, is he alive?
I will check for a pulse.
He is dead.
Okay, I'm putting my
No.
cloak back on then, because it's cold out.
Something else, Dr. Bell, would you mind giving me an intelligence check?
Sure.
Um, do you have any bonus to like medicine or anything?
Um, Not aside from being a doctor.
Okay, all right, yeah, go and just give it a +1 to your stat.
Okay. That's a success.
Okay, Master Duncan has extraordinarily bad frostbite, like worse frostbite than it should be possible for him to get in like it's cold out. Like if someone were out here like long enough, not properly like dressed, they could absolutely die of hypothermia, could absolutely get frostbite. The amount of frostbite that he has does not make sense for the amount of time that he's been out here.
This shouldn't be possible. We've only been out here a short time and something is wrong here.
Yeah, he has somehow frozen to death in the time it has taken you to approach him.
And Miss
Um,
Barclay just heard him speaking. There's absolutely no way.
It was definitely him. I know my cousin's voice. Can't possibly have been. I don't think anybody here would have been able to imitate his voice like that.
are there any other footsteps around aside from ours?
So interestingly, you see Duncan's footsteps coming out this way towards this tree. You don't see any other footsteps besides your own.
And you've
If
Immediately
certainly
if there
heard
hold
if
up
there
him.
the
was, oh,
lantern to
thank
look up.
thank you so much for the follow. If there were other people or other person out here, they somehow were able to not leave any tracks.
I'm looking up into the trees all around us.
As you look around, you don't see anything in the trees, but a flicker of something does catch your eye in the candlelight. A,
What do I see?
a flapping of something in the wind. Figure standing just out of your sight.
There's someone there. And she points in that direction, not taking her eyes off of it.
It appears to be approaching you.
Backing up a little bit.
It takes slow, deliberate steps towards you, seeming to not leave any marks upon the ground. It is wearing tattered, torn remains of a burial shroud. And beneath, walking towards you, is a skeletal figure. Not left but bones, yet animated by some power you cannot perceive.
Naturally skeptical, do I know what the heck this is?
Looks a heck of a lot like a skeleton
Well,
that
yes,
is just
but
walking towards you.
I'm meaning more in the sense of
I
how
can I
do I
can only I can
stop
only
it?
tell you what thy senses perceive. If you're asking, can you see the strings? Super can't.
No, more like, do I know historically, folklorically, what this could possibly be?
So historically, folklorically, this would seem to be a classic revenant,
Ah,
if such things were real, of course.
hmm, intriguing. Honestly, I feel forward system would be lovely right now.
I know,
Yeah, it
right?
really would be. Really would be.
um, hello, can you speak? Just looking at it.
Speak.
Oh gosh. That's
Hmm. I was expecting that to not work. I am extremely disturbed now. Right. What do you want?
I am called to serve.
I am called to serve. Serve whom?
The young master.
The young master? Is that what I heard?
The young master, yes.
The young master. Not Duncan.
Duncan would have been the young master here at Buttermore. Who else could it possibly mean?
Are
It
you
continues to approach you.
Mhm.
Are you guys
Okay.
continuing to back away?
I'm
Oh,
looking for a stick.
100%.
You can find a stick. There are sticks. Some
I am arming myself.
good hitting sticks aplenty out here.
Wonderful.
With like this, the
Would would
snow has
Mr.
caused some branches to
Owens
fall.
just checking, would Mr. Owens have, like, joined with us at this point?
Let's say that in this time, Mr. Owens is sort of kind of jogging up. I'm going to say, Owens, you get outside. You see people have sort of peeled off into the orchard.
Mm-hmm.
You do notice that there is a flicker of lantern light that is a bit separated off from everyone else, and you just kind of get a bad vibe.
I'll also say Mary has started shouting for help. We can
Okay,
also
there we go.
throw
Cool.
that little tidbit in there to
Cool,
help
cool.
direct
Yeah.
Owens our way.
Oh yeah, no,
Because Mary is not going to keep her cool. This is way past what Mary is willing to deal with as far as like
Mhm.
dangerous situations.
And I think,
yeah.
Owens, you are jogging up through the underbrush just as you see the three of them backing away from what I have described. Unfortunately, they are backing up into a thicket of branches and tightly copsed trees that is not going to give them easy further backward progress.
Mm-hmm.
And the Revenant is reaching forth a bony hand towards them.
Well, that's a big problem. So uh I have to um make a wisdom check or feel compelled to destroy this creature.
Mhm, mhm.
Um so let me just first let's see if I feel capable of if I'm capable of um uh trying to obtain more information. I am not. That's a nat 20. I am going to bust out this little pistol of mine and unload it into its naked skull.
Brap, brap.
Cool.
All right.
Rap,
Okay,
rap.
yeah. Go ahead and make me a dexterity check. I'm gonna say it is at a -1 penalty.
Yeah, except I'm a good shot.
Good shot. Yeah, yeah. It is a -1 penalty, but you're pretty good. You're
So that's a
pretty darn shooting.
pretty darn shooting. So I also have danger sense, so that's a +1. Um danger bonus. And I have feats of strength and dex.
Okay.
So that's
You are a demon hunter. This is kind of what you do.
this is kind of what I do. So this is even with that -1, I have to roll under a 17. And I roll another nat 20. So
Uh
can I use I'm gonna use an advantage. I'm gonna use an
Sure.
advantage.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's horse shit. That's stupid. That's stupid. Yeah, that's a 15. Okay.
Okay. Yep. You
Jesus Christ.
fire off a loud crack, and the report flaming from the end of a pistol in the black of the orchard. Uh, and it strikes the emaciated center mass of the revenant, and it doing
Oh,
a roll. Go ahead and roll damage.
okay. What is damage for this?
I believe it's a D6.
Just
Yeah,
one
I believe
d6?
one
D6
D6.
is
Yeah,
other die.
yeah. D6 is most of the damage. Stuff doesn't tend to have super high health.
Yep. That is a 4.
It is a 4.
Um
Cool.
and I am very specifically aiming up for its head because there are people around here,
Okay.
and I do not want to accidentally hit anyone.
Yeah, it strikes its skull and blasts away a portion of it. Where its eye, one eye socket now just sort of like opens into just an empty skull. Uh, it staggers as it does so, but it does not fall. Uh, Going to go ahead and since it is moving rather slowly and deliberately, give everyone else a turn here.
Mhm, mhm.
Hmm.
I think you'll hear the other thing that you'll hear from Owens, if you can, over the tinnitus of a black powder pistol or whatever the no, it's a regular old revolver. They had revolvers at the time.
Yes, yeah. In
Uh,
1883, they had revolvers.
they had revolvers. The over the sound of the gunshot, you just hear him saying, "Hit it, hit it, hit it."
I will do as instructed,
You
and I
you
will
did have a
swing to
weapon
hit.
ready, so yeah, go for it. Yep, go ahead and give me with a club, I'm gonna say strength. Strength
Oof.
-1.
I am so weak. Oh no.
Yeah.
But a delicate doctor.
Oh, oh, but that's still a success. Roll the
All right,
6.
very good.
Hey!
Um,
Uh since
D6.
you have an since you're doing an improvised weapon, just like the stick club, just do a D4.
Okay. That is a 4.
All right, solid. Yeah, as you just wallop this thing and it uh crumples at your feet in a pile of rag and bone.
Cool.
As it falls, it loses whatever preternatural ability it had to like not touch upon the snow, and it lies in a pile in a hole that it has made in the snowfall.
Hyacinthus comes like skidding to a stop next to him and says,
Mhm.
"What the fuck was that? Excuse my French,
Pas un problème.
friends, ladies, uh, uh, what
we
was that?
we have to find my uncle. I think it killed Duncan.
It killed. Oh shit!
Ada is slowly putting her hat pin back into her hat that she was wearing on the outside because, of course, hat pins, really good weapons at close range, not very effective against skeletons.
Okay, 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 okay. Do we know why it was here? Did it say anything to you?
It did. It said that it was here at the behest of the young master, which we thought would be Duncan, but
And
he's dead.
I overheard Duncan say something about that he was a child. Um so
Oh shit! No, your uncle knows what's going on. Your uncle fucked up.
what
Your uncle fucked this up.
the,
Uh,
Incidentally,
uh,
also, Eden, go ahead and give me a quick intelligence check at +1.
That's a success.
woohoo.
All right. Just
Hey.
taking a look at the remains of this thing. So obviously, it has suffered some damage from both the blasted skull and the impact of the club on its. It has shattered its clavicle. But there are some interesting elements of these bones. Like on the other side of its skull, it shows a clear sign of like blunt force trauma.
Yeah,
You
Justin,
had
fucking
fun?
grip it and rip it, baby. Slop that down, dude.
oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
dude. Crack one for the big
Yay!
boy.
Thank you so much for the donation. That's
Thank
another
you.
advantage in the pool. Should be 3 advantage still total in the pool.
Mhm.
Um, uh, that you would guess that that wound, the blunt force trauma to the head, is much older, probably like cause of death, probably, and the bones show signs of being gnawed upon.
Oh. Did this come from the direction of the cemetery?
It did.
Okay. Um, I expect that this is one of the old servants of the house.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you go messing about with elder powers, the old gods and shit like that, anybody who says we're going to go get in contact with old gods, you punch them right in the face. Those people are bad people and they are going to mess you up. All right? You hear me? All right. So, well, your uncle went around consorting with fell powers, ancient spirits, and the like, and well, they took their price in the form of making his eldest son unnatural. His son's unnaturalness wound up causing likely the deaths of a couple of people, and then he went in ahead and he summoned a Krampus to go take him away. And now he's back.
That can't possibly be true.
Uh,
I've got his
Uncle
journal.
I
I got the book
agree.
right here he used to do it with.
Uncle Aaron is you've met him? Like that. He's normal.
How scared did you say he got when you mentioned his dead son to him?
I mean, he was upset. The family all says like don't talk about it because they're so upset about the fact that the son died. Like
He's upset because it's his fault.
Hmm. It may be his fault, and who knows, maybe this weird skeleton thing was not strung up by someone, but I highly doubt that they actually called upon elder gods. Or Krampus, are you kidding me?
Opens the book. And this is the method by which one may consecrate your ground to the elder gods, but be warned, good sirs, that if you do, there comes a chance, a risk, that your children or some of the fruits of this may be cursed.
Just because someone's written that in a book doesn't make it true. I should know.
Well, I'm just saying, when it ain't true, there ain't skeletons walking around.
And interestingly, so you are hearing some shouting from other parts of the orchard, likely brought upon by the report of a firearm.
Yeah.
Uh, but people aren't that far away in the grand scheme of things. You would have thought that more people would have reached you. You're hearing a lot of clattering and shouting throughout the orchard and back closer to the direction of the house. That is coupled with the sounds of horses uh, in distress.
Are these the sounds of? Am I hearing the all too familiar sounds of supernatural violence?
Yeah, it sounds like something done spooked the horses,
Mm.
and now they're careening off every which way, which is causing chaos and also conveniently removing the easiest way that people had to leave and escape.
Mm.
Well, well, he's gonna reload his revolver and go marching off in that direction. Y'all should probably keep a hold of that club. Now I'm gonna go put some good old fashioned American lead up into the skulls of some monsters.
Ada has her hat pin and her lantern to thwack people with.
And you go charging. You're charging back towards the house.
Towards the sound.
The sounds, yeah. It
The
seems like that
sounds.
this, yeah, the sounds are kind of because there's stables near the house. There's a lot of chaos. There's some chaos. Let me put it this way: there's some chaos sounds like elsewhere in the orchard, and there's some chaos closer to the house.
Mm. What does I Sorry, I'm looking now for my sheet here. So I have resist preternatural effects, but I also have tracking.
Okay.
Can I get a sense of like where is the densest uncanniness between these places, like the densest aura of the
Sure.
unnatural?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll go make that an intelligence check. Yeah.
Sure, 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 sure. That's a 19. Nope. In
Yeah.
that case, Owens is going to High is going to go protect people over horses.
Okay.
So he's going to go to where the people are, the sounds of people.
All right. You go charging. This is more so in the direction of the more in the orchard.
Yes.
You pass by a couple of small groups of people charging back towards the house, uh, and you find yourself in another clearing. You see four figures. Two of them are similarly gaunt and emaciated, wrapped in their burial shrouds, dropping trails of grave earth onto the white snow beneath them. One of the figures is fallen down in the snow. Uh, the other one is presently trying to back away and escape, but has fallen into a pit that was hidden by a snowdrift. And the one who is actively trying to escape uh, is presently being menaced by one of the revenants. Uh, and the other revenant is standing up from where it was crouched over the figure fallen in the snow, its work seemingly already done.
I am going to shoot at the menacing one.
Okay, go ahead. Give me a dexterity -1.
Still -1?
Yeah, they have a -1 bonus from their
Okay, yeah,
armor
yeah, yeah.
class.
Got
Yeah,
Mm,
you, got you.
I'm assuming that we're all just following
yeah,
High.
yeah.
That is a 10. It needed a 17,
Hmm.
or under a 17. And that is 3 damage.
Very cool. It's similarly aiming for the skull, blasts apart the back of the skull, loosing earth that had collected in there over the years and falling upon the ground like black snow. It staggers but continues in its dread march.
Mm.
Next up, I'm gonna go with Ada.
Um,
You jingle jangling up behind.
yep, I'm jingle jangling up behind. It's like the little tinkling sound of bells, but she is absolutely going to just see this, has a big old heavy lantern, and is just going to reel back and thwack it with this burning lantern.
Okay. Um, I will lantern. Interesting. I'm gonna say strength. I'm gonna say strength for the lantern.
Okay,
Yeah. Strength -1.
-1. So wait, what does that mean for a
So
minus
basically, it
one?
means so the penalty is applied to your stat, so it is
Okay,
harder to roll under it.
so it was strength, right?
Strength, yeah.
I rolled an 8, and a -1 makes it an 8. So,
Okay.
like, that is
Yay.
my first successful roll.
All right. Go ahead and roll a d4 for the improvised weapon of the lantern. I'm gonna say a d4 +1 to give it. I'll give it a +1 from the fact that it's burning. So d4 +1.
Amazing. So, I do get to use a dreidel for
Oh,
this.
excellent.
Yay.
Uh, okay, so that was +1, that is 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Wait, I have
Um,
a damage bonus of +1, so that's 4 points of damage then?
4 points of damage. Yes, and that was a what? 3 from the pistol you said earlier.
Yes.
Owen.
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
That was
Um,
my first successful roll this entire game.
Go ahead and just give me just a flat d20. Like over under, and tell me what the result is.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is to see how well the lantern survives being used as a bop.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. The lantern is decidedly dented and one of its panels is broken, but it is still functional both as a weapon and as a lantern.
I will take that.
Yep. All right. Next up is going to be Mary. What are you doing?
Uh, Mary is not really built for combat. Um,
Wanna maybe help the person who's fallen, see if you can get them
Yeah.
up?
So there
yeah,
are some you can. Yeah. There's
I'll
help
rush
out
forward and see if I
actions.
know the
Yeah.
person who's like on the ground.
The one who has fallen in the snow or the one who is trying to escape.
I'll try checking on the person who's fallen into the snow.
Okay.
Or is the person who's trying to escape like can they like now that we're engaging with the revenant, can they or are they like trapped still in some way?
They are trying to free themselves from the snowdrift. Trying to
Oh, okay,
dig
I'll
their
go
way
help her.
out. Yeah, trying to climb out of sort of like the pit they sort of fell into, those hidden by the snowdrift,
Yeah.
trying to kind of like find footing,
All right,
basically.
I'll go try and help that person. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, you can run over, getting into the snow with them, trying to evade falling into the same trap yourself. You recognize that this is Flynn McDonald. Uh, go ahead and a stat of your choice. Tell me how you're using the stat of your choice to help out here.
I'm gonna say I am using dexterity to
Okay.
try to like uh apply like trying to help like give them leverage to get out of the snowdrift as opposed to like just brute strength tugging them
Sure,
out.
sure. Okay. Yeah.
But that is going to be a failure.
Right. You are not successful in freeing them. You do manage to at least avoid falling into the same pit yourself. You at least have solid footing, and that does at least also give them a clear vantage point of, okay, if I can get there, that is where there is some purchase to be had.
Okay. Yeah.
And Eden.
There was one looming that had already. That's the one that everybody has been hitting.
The one that was approaching Flynn was
Okay.
the one that everyone has been attacking so far. That one has been partially set alight by the lantern and has had a good chunk of its skull blasted away by a pistol.
I am
It is
going.
stooped and smoldering, but it yet lurches forward in its terrible task.
I'm going to spin the club around and try to take its head off.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
I don't remember which die was working for me earlier.
Do you get
Strength
it?
-1.
Do you get advantage for your anatomist knowledge and knowing exactly where to hit it to pop the?
You know what? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll give you a +1 for that. That will cancel out the -1 for the armor class.
There you
So
Oh,
go.
yeah.
damn. I'm weak as hell, so it doesn't matter. That's still a failure.
Yeah, you take a mighty swing, but the way it moves is not the way a person moves, and it just sort of slinks under your blow. It being distracted momentarily and turning its attention towards you, reaching forth with a single boned claw.
Rather unfortunate.
Do you have an armor class bonus of any kind?
No.
Nope. Okay. And it swings and grasps your arm in its claws, and you feel its vice like hand sink like razors, like icicles into your skin. And you actually see the skin around where it has touched you begin to blacken and blister, as with extreme exposure, for 3 damage.
Okay. Um, Eden yells. Eden is not used to being on the receiving end of what damage can be done to the human body.
Mhm.
No. And then in turn, right, the other revenant is choosing its target. So I'm going to say Owens is high and Ada is low. Owens, the revenant, similarly gliding ethereally over the tops of the snowdrift, trying to grasp you in death's embrace.
I'm gonna ethereally kiss my ass.
Fair enough. Oh, do you have an armor class
I
bonus?
do. I have a +1.
Sick. All right. Unfortunately, it will still hit you.
No.
No. Ooh. Okay. For 6 damage.
Holy actual hell. That, like, you only have 6 hit points in this game.
That's at the first
Mm,
level. What level?
Yeah.
yeah.
You should be level
Uh,
3, I think, right, as a demon hunter?
yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so
so you would have
you get 2 more hit
rolled
die.
a d6 each time you like leveled up.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So at
Yeah.
this point, you should
Okay.
have three d6 health.
Yes, I do.
Um,
And I did do it correctly. I just
Forgot
looked at
that.
the wrong
I
thing.
mean, 6 damage does suck
6
still,
damage
but
really
Yeah.
sucks. That takes me
yeah.
down by a lot. So hate that.
Yeah, as I
Uh
think it manages to rake you across the face, and you can feel your mortal flesh recoiling from this unnatural necrotic power.
Hmm.
hmm. Is this something I get a save against? This
Nope.
necrotic power? Damn.
No, it's just it's just how I'm flavoring the damage.
Fair.
Mm.
Was
Yeah,
worth it. Worth an ask.
yeah.
Um
It is your turn again now, however.
Oh, I'm gonna stick my this thing is all up right is right up in my business. So
Yeah.
the other one I was gonna have to, all these other wonderful young people came in and got in my line of fire. But I'm gonna stick my pistol up under this thing's chin and blast it top of its dome off. And I sure am, because that's a 1.
All right, go ahead and
Ooh,
roll damage.
Alrighty.
Very
That's a
nice.
6. So 6 damage
nice.
right back to his
6
face.
to that one. Very cool. You fully explode its skull. Uh
Excellent.
and it similarly staggers forward, but somehow, even in the absence of a head, what remains of its crooked body lurches forward with malice. Uh,
Creepy.
Hate that.
yeah.
Hate that
And
for
so,
Really
and
me.
hate
speaking of,
that.
it's Ada's up.
Cool.
Ada's on deck.
Ada has a cloak and she has something that has flame in it. So she's going to wrap cloak around Revenant body and light it on fire.
Sick. All right. The one that was the one that just attacked Owens, or the one that just attacked Eden.
Which one looks more injured, if I can tell?
So actually, at this point, they're actually both pretty injured. Um,
Cool.
because the first one has taken a couple of hits, and the second one, the one that attacked Owens, only took one, but it was a monster of a hit. So
Okay. Owens looks more injured
fair,
than.
yeah,
So I'm going to go for the one that's going after Owens.
okay. Unwrap it in the cloak
Oh,
and try to set it on fire.
yeah. Could this
Okay,
be considered dexterity?
I would consider that dexterity. Yeah,
Okay.
I would say you should probably go for the other one, because while Owens does look more
Yeah.
injured, he does not, like, the injury is probably worse, but he does
Okay.
not behave injured.
Okay. So I'll go
Like,
after
the
the
other
other
one.
one.
Okay,
yeah,
sure,
yeah, I would
Yep.
yeah.
go after the other one. He's got
Okay.
this. Hi's got this.
Okay. Yes, that's a 4. So I succeeded again. Apparently, Ada is really good at fighting and not doing anything else.
Missing that calling in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, you were able to wrap this thing in a cloak and set it alight. Go ahead. Go ahead and roll d4 plus 2. I
Okay.
don't think it's gonna super matter, but just in case.
So 5 points of damage total.
Cool. Yeah. You wrap it in this cloak and set it alight, and the flames consume it. As yeah, the force that kept it aloft fails, it crashes into the snow, becoming a smoldering ruin. And next up is going to
Beautiful.
be Mary.
I'm gonna keep trying to help Flynn get out of this snowbank. So let's. Uh, I think at this point she's like managed to grab his hand and is just like trying to like pull backwards with all her weight. So I'm gonna do a strength check, despite the fact that I'm fully expecting this to fail. But hey, I'm gonna take inspiration from Ada succeeding at not their best. Oh, that was so close, but no. It's
Do you
We
want
have
lot.
more
do you want to use one of the
advantage.
advantage in the pool?
I mean, my strength is 8. So it is still more
Still
likely
a little
than
bit of a
not
long
I
shot,
will
yeah.
fail. So it would be more if I could just like apply it where I could change it by a 1. I would
Yeah, but I'm gonna call this an advantage, yeah.
yeah. So if it works that way, I'd be like totally, but I don't think rolling again is going to give me very likely odds of success. So we'll just allow me to fail, and like Mary's just ineffectually over there with Flynn being like, just oh, come on.
Yeah, I think you managed to fall backwards. You at the very least are at least a fulcrum point, an anchor point that Flynn is able to use to try to help
Mhm.
climb out. So there's that. And Eden.
I'm gonna swing at this thing that's got its claws in me.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So the one that was in you, that one has now fallen into a smoldering ruin, but there is still the
Yeah,
one that
that's
is
the
Oh,
one that I
attacking
ended
wonderful.
up
Owens.
attacking.
That's great. Eden's got a lot of anger. Ooh, and that's a success.
Okay.
Hey.
Go ahead and roll d4 for the club.
That is a 2.
Okay. Well, that's exactly as much as it had left. So,
Hey.
um, batter up. That's something they say in cricket, right? Yeah.
Totally
Yes,
not.
100%. As the revenant almost crumbles to dust under your blow, and is blown away on the wind along with the drifting piling snow.
Well, I think that they are actually real.
Glad that
Flynn
you're on board.
has managed to crawl out of the ditch, and he's like, and next to Mary in possibly a compromising position. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I don't what's I I'm not sure what's mm, I'm I think I may faint.
Uh,
Your
uh,
electricity would not have been able to do that, by the way.
faint later. Pick up a big stick now. Who's the dead body?
It's Godfrey. Or yeah, Godfrey Grimes.
Godfrey Grimes.
Yeah. The old physician, the old grave robber.
Ah,
Yeah. All right.
Similarly frozen to death.
Now, did we kill these two? We killed these two things.
The
yeah,
two
they're
the two
very
revenants,
much
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
charred and dead.
Cool. Charred
Yes.
and dead.
Yes,
Great.
they are donezo.
Yeah,
Just
that was
roll the other body into the one that's on fire so that it also gets consumed, just in case.
Yeah, sure. Little
Just in
little
case.
thoroughness.
The
I
medical
think
equivalent of a double tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High is gonna look at that and go like, that fire's not hot enough to burn any bodies. Like, and is going to actually try to going to like encourage them to put the fire out. This is an apple orchard in the winter. Don't set fires in a forest in the winter. Common sense. All right, let's go back to the house because something was spooking the horses, and I suspect it might be the young master. That's where High's going.
Okay. Once the bones are charred a bit more, then she'll be like, Ada will be like, oh, okay, and just take piles of snow and throw it on the fire to put it out. That's effective, right?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Right.
Absolutely fine.
Do you anything you guys are doing on your way to the house?
Keeping an eye out.
High might toss the book to Mary and ask her to see if there is anything in there for banishment. There's anything in there that says to banish, to look for the words banish, abjure, or just sending back, return, revocation, any of those sort of
Return to
keywords.
sender.
Return to sender, fuck off, get thee behind me, all that sort of thing. While
Mary
they're
will
walking.
start hurriedly skimming the book for those key words.
Okay. Uh, you were going to be doing that for a minute, trying to like a little bit tough just with like the low light,
Yeah.
and it's not a subject with which you're super familiar.
And I
You
am
know a
still
little you
walking with them. I'm not
yes,
letting
yeah.
them leave me here
You
alone.
get you get a little bit just because like I mean look, you've been to a spooky black bass at one point as a libertine. So like you're a little more educated than the man on the street. But you're not an expert.
Yeah, by any means.
Um, so you're gonna be doing that for a minute. Um, and you all start to approach the house, where you can see that like the horses have bolted out in every direction, out into the night, into the snow, across the frozen bogs. You can hear some commotion from inside the house. It seems like a number of people, a large number of people, most of the party, have now re-entered the house and have barred the doors and are in the process of barricading themselves inside. Except, notably, for one person who is standing out in front, looking up at the house.
Who is
I
that?
just lost. Oh, no.
Mm, hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Yes.
Hello?
Okay. I just lost Anya, but
Oh,
uh
I'm here.
oh,
I can
there you
leave
are.
and
You
come back.
okay?
Nope.
You okay?
You're nope, you're good.
Everyone's
You're
back?
back now.
Okay,
So
cool, cool. All right. So, except for one person that is standing out in front of the house, looking up at it. Um, Noticing from behind, you're not 100% sure how they got to where they are, as it doesn't appear that they are leaving any footprints in the snow behind them. Person, heavy winter jacket. And Eden, you are recalling now as the silhouette of the person, uh, outlined by the electric lights of the house, comes into focus for you. You remember when you were in the kitchen earlier looking at Cullen's plate that had been picked at, and the venison was undisturbed. Thorsten appears to be standing in front of the house.
I have my weapon ready just in case.
was that your real name, Thorsten, or is it Colin?
Thorsten turns around, regards you, and in a voice not much like the one that he was using earlier, says, I was born Cullen Buttermore, but I became Thorsten. I found Thorsten and his party on Franz Joseph's land. They thought me a native of some kind after I had made my escape from the mines. They found it most peculiar, my grasp of English, most of them Norwegians, which was lucky as I speak not a lick of the Scandinavian tongues. I was dearly afraid that someone this evening was going to try to address me in my ostensible mother tongue.
So what's the goal here?
Revenge.
Seems a bit unfair.
Well, did you kill those servants?
As I grew into my power, they, like the three kings of old, gave gifts to the Christ child, delivered unto me their flesh, their blood, their bones, that I might emerge in my fullness.
Mm. Yeah. Well, about that, I'm gonna shoot him.
Cool.
uh, like this is I
Yeah.
didn't roll my wisdom check,
Yeah,
but
yeah, this is fine.
I gotta be
Yeah.
honest, a guy wanting escaping from coal mines and wanting revenge. I mean, that's kind of like had his wife not died, like I gotta be honest, that would be entirely Hyacinthus's jam. Like, yeah, nah, bud, you want a job?
He did. It does sound a bit like he ate the help though.
He
So
did eat the help. That's kind
yeah.
Yeah.
of a problem. That's not good worker solidarity, and we can't be
No,
having
no,
that.
that's not great praxis. Yeah.
No, 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 no. So
Yeah.
I rolled a 16. I assume does he have the same armor class as the other guys?
Actually, no.
Okay.
It's
Nope.
got more.
No. Flat.
Oh, flat. Oh, okay, sweet. So I needed an 18 or under, and I got a 16. So
Nope. Yep.
he
Um,
is.
you fire and strike him in the chest, and he staggers backward a bit from the blow,
Mhm.
and you see his footprints in the snow, basically filling as he steps out of them,
Mm.
Mm.
and he rights himself and begins to take off his heavy winter jacket, revealing a body that is covered in what look like healed frostbite scars. And you see what looks just like a, a nasty bruise where your bullet struck him. Um, and he says, in Dante's vision of hell, the deepest part of perdition is not the lake of fire, but the cave of ice. I have weathered such scourges that no mortal rod may smite me.
Interesting.
With that, Mary's gonna be like flipping through
Looking
even
faster.
well,
Yeah.
especially now that we're like in like with bathed in the electric Christmas lights, she's got
Yes.
a little bit better
With the combination of the time you have had to look and the additional light, I'm going to say you can roll intelligence with advantage, and there's still 3 advantage in the pool.
woo, I succeed.
All
Hey.
right. So you were looking through this book. You are sadly not seeing anything that is quite like abjurance or protection, but in terms of banishment, there is at least the one thing that does jump out at you. There is the uh, bookmarked page to summon the Krampus to take a soul away. It is ostensibly how he was taken the first time, and it might stand to reason that it will work a second time.
Okay, what? How does one summon a Krampus according to this book?
Well, it is going to require a bunch of mistletoe. Um, there is a good bit growing around the apple orchards. It does require also that you be in a place of power. Um, which
Electricity is power.
electricity is power. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could use
The
that.
house is
The
consecrated.
house is consecrated. You would have to get inside the house, which is currently at least partially barricaded, and which Thorsten slash Cullen is currently standing between you and.
Mhm.
So that seems like the step one. Um, and I will say, it did seem as though like the bullet did do something. He was not fully unmarked. It's just like it wasn't quite what you would hope a discharge from a 45 revolver was gonna do.
I rolled a 5 for damage too, so
Yeah.
I was
Uh,
really hoping this was gonna,
Like it wasn't nothing. It's just he's on some other bullshit, it seems like.
cool. Um,
Cool, 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 cool,
what
cool, cool,
he
cool.
was in coal mines. Can I
He was
try to light him on fire? Because that
hmm.
seems to have been very effective so far.
Well, that's an interesting idea actually. Okay.
Just a thought.
Like so just what, just try to like just hit him like with the lantern and hope it catches him on fire or
I mean, he has the heavy winter coat that he's kind of like
right. Yeah.
done a little "It's me, Grandmama Anastasia" moment.
Yeah, okay.
Um, can I try to light it on fire?
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, give me a dexterity check. It's a little I'm going to give you a -1 on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope, nope, we ignore. I rolled a 19.
Hmm.
I'm going to, like, chuck this at him, and it just
Yeah,
whizzes
it
past.
just whips over his shoulder. He just kind of like looks at it for a second like, what the fuck
Well,
are
that
you
worked the first
doing?
2 times.
What are you doing? And
Anyway,
so, however, I will say that has distracted him momentarily if somebody wants to try and take advantage of that distraction. Like if you guys
Uh,
want to try to like bolt for the house, or if you guys want to try and attack him another way, like, what
I think Mary is
there's
gonna
an
try to
opportunity
sneak.
you can use to some effect, whatever effect you would like that to be.
I think Mary's gonna start trying to sneak towards the house.
Okay. Trying to do sneak or just fully like run.
Well, her sneak skill also works for just like remaining unseen, sort of thing. So
Okay. All right.
I was gonna
All right.
try and
Go ahead and give me a dexterity check. Go for it. Go for it.
that's gonna be a failure though. So she's like trying to edge past like around all of this and see if she can't just like go around and like and just be unnoticed by her
I
parent cousin
I
while
think I
he's
think
doing this.
I think you were able to kind of get up to the house while he's distracted. Unfortunately, you go to try a door. Unfortunately, the door you try to open the door and it has apparently been like barricaded with something from the other side. And you jostling to try to see if you can open it attracts his attention. Let me put it this way: I don't necessarily have a quarrel with most of you, even you, dear cousin. Um, You are not to blame for my father's ill conceived machinations, nor his insistence upon propriety and avoiding scandal, such that he would entreat with the blackest depths of night to avoid embarrassment. I am content enough to let you wander these winter wastes till you shall find succor. Leave me to my vengeance. Or you may continue to try in vain to thwart me.
I um did Mary's just gonna be at a loss for words and then she's just gonna bolt like turn and try to bolt towards like the next available entrance to the house that she can find.
would you actually stop with your father though? Because
Um,
seems to me one of your revenants went ahead and killed your, you know, your younger brother.
oh, I intend to burn the Buttermore tree down to the roots. Orchard, house, all of it.
Well, see now, not all of those people did you wrong, did they?
They
Father,
are
your father.
participants in my father's false charade of civility. Besides, fear seasons the meat.
Ooh,
Mm.
hate that.
All right.
I do so find its taste preferable to raw reindeer.
Man, at the beginning of this, I was thinking that you and I might have some stuff in common. And, I think we might, after all, he's like taking off his
Mhm.
jacket.
Not
Like,
gonna lie, had you in the first half.
it's not gonna lie, you had me the first half of that. I was really thinking that you and I might have some stuff in common. I got some mine owners I'd love you to meet, buddy. Uh, but I reckon, ah, I reckon you's bad news. And ain't your fault you're bad news. But it ain't the rat's fault it spread the Black Death. Gotta kill it. And I'm gonna shoot him again.
Yeah,
I'm gonna basically my whole goal here is to keep him focused on me as much as
sure.
he
Yeah,
can so
makes
that these
sense.
other fine young people can go do what they need to do.
Okay. Yeah.
So
All
I'm going
right.
to I'm gonna tank.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Yeah. Go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage.
Okay, I'm gonna roll that beautiful bean footage. I'm gonna try and just roll to pull aggro. That's a 4.
All right. You are able to pull aggro, and you just shoot him again.
Yeah, it's multiple times.
Yeah. No, I think
I'm
you're just gonna go ahead and just keep firing.
I'm firing. If he starts like he's gonna turn, I'm gonna jump on him. It's gonna be a
Go ahead.
bad scene.
We're not fully like in rounds necessarily fully. So like go ahead and roll me 5d6. If you're just gonna empty your revolver into him,
Yeah.
yeah, go
All
ahead and
right.
roll me 5d6.
Okay. 5d6. That's oh wow. Okay. Uh, that was okay. Okay, 19.
Okay.
Which is not great because I rolled 2 1s. You are muted, Anya.
Oh no, sorry. I was muttering to myself doing math.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh muttering to myself. Oh, you
Yeah, no,
Anya, you are muted
I
also.
cannot hear you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
Nope.
Nope. Interesting. Let me see. Are you showing up in? Let me see if you're showing up in Anya Talk. No. And direct interview. Go ahead and talk.
You might want to just back out and
Yeah.
pop right on back in.
Oh no, Colin stole her voice.
Hmm. Tech gremlins, they happen in the
Yep.
beginning and they happen at the end.
Yep.
They just keep happening.
I'm seeing
Okay.
camera.
Okay.
My thing
Yay.
Yes.
my
Now
thing
you're back.
flipped out on me for a second there. Anyway, I was saying while he's doing that, could I've been told about the mistletoe and running out to grab that.
Sure. Absolutely. You can do that.
Yeah, we'll say that Mary like get past that a log before she ran away.
Yeah. Eden, what are you doing?
I see Mary looking for an opening, so I am going to try and find, even if it's a window that I have to smash to try and get back into the house.
Okay, sure. Do you have as a grave robber, do you have anything with like detecting secret doors?
Um, Night vision, handle locks and traps. That's as close as I get.
With handle locks and traps, I'll give you that. You can roll to basically like pick the lock on the door.
Okay. What role is that?
Let me see.
Would it be dexterity?
It's probably dexterity. I feel like.
Perfect. That's exactly what I needed for Dex. Can we say it's Dex, please?
All right, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. We're just gonna call it Dex. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. That's a success.
All right, you are able to, with the lock picks that you just sort of conveniently have in your pocket, just for no reason, medical reasons, medical lock
Of
That makes
picks.
course.
sense.
Yes, these are medical lock picks,
I'm not
medicinal
absolutely
even.
taking notes of where all these bodies have dropped to come back and collect later on
No,
if I
no,
need to.
No.
no. Of
Not at
course,
all.
these are medicinal lock picks, and you are able to uh, open the lock on one of the doors and force it open. And in turn, Ada, you were able to grab some mistletoe and join Mary and Eden on the porch, trying to fit through the door as Owens is unloading the revolver into Cullen. And he does notice, definitely. You can see them impacting, bruising his flesh, breaking his ribs. One actually does penetrate, though he does reach in with a finger and pluck it out. And he is advancing on Owens.
I think there's a little bit during sort of the panic firing, during the firing where he starts to panic, and then there's like this moment where he's just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna die. Okay," and is kind of just like not okay with that. Might be too much to say, but kind of resigned to it.
Okay. Well, the rest of you, are you guys going to try to get inside? Are you guys sticking to the plan?
I'm sticking to the plan.
Okay. We're sticking to the plan. You guys are shoving your way inside, a little bit more safely away from Cullen for now. And Cullen is your +1 armor class, right? Owen, sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Right. That is going to be for 4 damage. As Cullen knocks you backward with just this sinewy arm, like muscles that feel more like granite than flesh.
And I didn't heal at all in between those scenes, right?
Yeah.
Nope. Okay.
Yep.
I go flying.
Yeah.
I've got 6 hit points left. I am off of 16.
Hmm.
I'm not feeling great.
So gotta rush this ritual then.
Yep. There is something that you would know, Owens. You do have the ability to. This is actually something anybody can do. Demon Hunters might get a bonus to it. I'm not positive. Might have to double check the class description. Um, you can attempt to temporarily ward off evil with faith.
Oh, yeah, I will attempt to do that.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so how's that work? Um I
The
think yeah, how's that work?
I believe it's just a wisdom check, but let me double check because unfortunately my laptop's having a real one.
Okay.
So let me just.
Do.
I definitely thought that everyone had frozen for a second because
Yeah.
everyone's so still.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. It doesn't look I get resist preternatural
I
effects, but I
see.
don't get anything. Um
Oh, it's actually it's a charisma contest actually.
oh, okay.
All right.
All right. I've got pretty
Yeah.
good
Okay.
charisma.
Yeah. No. It's a it is a contested charisma roll. So you roll charisma and him roll charisma.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Um I have handsome, but I don't reckon that helps here. That's a natural one.
Oh, sick. Well, that does beat him.
Yay.
So describe how Hyacinthus abjures Cullen Buttermore.
I think I think the faith that he's having here is more in the uh he doesn't have a whole lot of faith in like God or
Hmm.
gods.
Yeah.
Um but he's got a lot of faith in people,
Hmm.
like the capacity of people to be both powerfully good and powerfully evil. And this isn't people. This just ain't people anymore. It might have once been a person, but actually probably it never got the chance to be a person, and that's sad. But I think the way it comes down to is he sits in the snow, this thing's stalking up to him, and I think he sits up and just goes, "I like fear to flavor the meat. You ain't the scariest thing I've seen this week. I've shat things scarier than you. Come on, man. Ugh. Let's try that again."
And yeah, Cullen will approach you, but it seems as though something is kind of stopping him from taking the step forward. And he actually looks kind of confused for a moment, unsure of what this force is. I think maybe himself even not aware of how unmortal he has become to be affected by this. So, continuing to buy you some time as the where are the three of you going once you are inside?
So I wasn't going inside, I was going for the mistletoe.
Right. I thought you were joining them once you had the mistletoe.
Oh, yeah, I can have done that, sure.
Okay, yes, yeah. So the three of you were all
Yeah.
inside at this point.
Okay.
And where are you going from there?
Um,
You tell me, Mary.
uh, 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 upstairs, Uncle has a private study, probably there. Um, if it
All
has to
right.
be somewhere important, um, let's. She's just gonna start like dashing up the stairs.
All right. And out of curiosity, does Dr. Bell still have the ring?
No, Dr. Bell gave it to Mr. Owens.
Ah, okay. That would have been
Who
such a
gave it to
nice touch.
Thorsten like a chump?
Ah, it
Ah,
would have been
You
such
do
a nice touch to tie that in, but that's okay.
you when Thorsten punched you, you definitely felt like the ring that he is now wearing on his hand. Just like, wow, that there's a stroke of irony there.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, rushing up the stairs to the study. Um, is there anyone or anything in the study?
You do see the hunched form over the desk of Baron Aaron Buttermore.
Is he
His
dead?
he appears to be alive. His large and jolly frame almost kind of sunken into his chair.
um, Uncle, Duncan is dead and Colin is outside, and we need to do this thing to get rid of Colin. So before he kills more people, apparently. So gonna need you to pitch in here, and we can talk about your apparent dark ritual secrets later.
I deserve this. Why fight it?
We don't
Because
have time
there's a
for that.
lot of other people who don't deserve this here, Uncle. And I think at that point, Mary's probably just going to get frustrated and be like, okay, we'll just have to do it without him. Follow the book.
Oh, I'm going to walk up to him and just slap him in the face.
Hell yeah.
You're going to help us right now because you've done this before. Get up and do this right now.
He will creakily, slowly pull himself out of the chair, sort of shoving it aside in frustration, dragging his desk back against a wall and pulling up the carpet, where beneath it, uh, carved into the wood, appears to be a ritual circle.
There you go. You've been helpful.
Whatever it is you do here, I will not be a part of it. I have soiled my hands too much for one lifetime. May God have mercy on your souls. And he will slink out of the room.
Right, your uncle is a piece of work. Let's get this done.
All right. I am going to say, okay, I'm going to need combined an
Mhm.
intelligence check, a wisdom check, and a charisma check. Uh, who wants to do each? I leave up to you.
I should not do wisdom because that's a 7 for me. Intelligence is my highest out of 15.
Intelligence is also my highest, but it's only at a 12.
I mean, I'll do charisma.
Okay, who's
You,
gonna jump on the wisdom grenade?
you want me to take wisdom, Anya?
Please.
Okay.
You do still have some advantage in the pool.
That's true.
In fact, I think you have
Okay.
exactly 3 advantage left in the pool if everybody wants to.
Well, I just rolled a nat 1, so I don't need
Oh,
it.
you're fine. I'm gonna go ahead and use one then,
I am also going to
just in
use
case.
one.
Beautiful. One of those is a nat one for me too, so it's a
Woo!
success.
They were just waiting.
That is a success. I got
They,
a 2.
they were just biding their time
Yes.
as you stumble a little bit over the incantations, but the more that you say them, the more that the strange syllables seem to uh, flow freely from your lips. The more it starts to feel like a language almost that you once knew but have long forgotten. It's like slipping into a familiar glove and breaking it in. And in the flickering candlelight, there you see the carved figures of the wild men almost seem to turn their heads to look at all of you, fixing you in their gaze, taking your measure before a door opens that you did not ever realize was there. It opens, trailing cobwebs and letting in a musty, earthen, peaty scent. You hear the clanking of bells and chains as a figure stoops through the doorway, its horns almost rushing the ceiling as it extends to its full height. Its face, chimera of man and beast. You feel when you gaze upon this thing every act of wickedness you have ever performed. They run across your mind, and you know that in that moment it knows them too. It turns towards the person leading the ritual, Mary, and it sort of pulls back almost like equine teeth that it licks with a long simian tongue. Where is the sinner?
Outside, out out front.
It inhales through its nostrils, flaring a long moment, taking in the whole room, the whole house, the whole orchard, it seems like, in a long breath.
Uh, I think you might know this one. Ed might have taken him once before.
A fugitive. Well, that just won't do, will it? As it starts to stalk back through the door whence it came, it turns briefly and locks eyes with Mary and says, "Don't delay. Do you ever wish to summon me again?" It stalks back through the door, dragging its belled chains behind it, and the door closes, taking with it the musty smell and the entire wall that it was attached to.
I hated that.
And outside, Hyacinthus,
Yeah.
you see as Cullen has at last managed to, just with sheer fury at being barred what he wants, what he's due, what he is owed, forces himself through your shield of faith in raising a blow that you are certain in your current weakened state would kill you. But as it descends, it is caught in a belled chain wrapped around it, shackling it, pulling from behind as more chains wrap around his feet, hobbling him. And you see this Krampus looming up to its full height, its full near 8 feet of length behind Cullen, sort of dragging him backward as he wraps him in chains into the embrace of his long fur cloak.
You should have
Mm,
let me kill you, boy.
don't, don't do this. Don't let him take me again. Don't send me back there.
I will put one last bullet in him if he'll let me do it.
Sure. You know what? I'm not even going to make you roll for it. You are you aiming to try and like kill him so he dies
Yeah,
first?
I'll do a mercy killing. That's
Yeah.
that's the only thing I've got here. That's
You
the
know
only thing I've
what?
got for
I
him.
think, yeah, as the Krampus is closing his cloak about him, you manage to put one between his eyes, and his head lolls backward to the side as his corpse is pulled into the blackness. And where there was the Krampus, you realize now was only ever a shadow cast through the branches of the trees by the lights of the house.
I spits in the snow, winces because he sees his teeth in it, and hobbles inside.
And yeah, these have been the events at Mistletoe Manor. And this has been a
Woo!
most ghastly affair.
It sure
I
has.
want to
I
thank
don't know.
everyone so much
I
for
don't
joining me
know.
on this gothic holiday romp. I hope everyone had a good time.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Right up until that
uh,
tongue thing.
mm,
Yeah, I could literally hear your tongue sounds, and I did not like
The
it.
mouth
mhm,
sounds were, but they were not great.
mhm.
No.
Like
Not optimal.
they were
Yeah.
appropriate but bad.
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely appropriate for it. However,
Hmm. Good. Good. Good, 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 good. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays.
All right, we are going to go around and do our outros for everybody. Can I make? Nope, I still cannot make the big things work. At least not without futzing with OBS a bit. So we'll do it small
All good.
style. Anya, where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm Lalion cosplay everywhere, literally everywhere. If it is a place that I have a username, it is Lalion cosplay. I make lots of costumey things. This is partially finished. And I also stream Pokemon. Currently playing Pokemon Gold. It's me.
Very cool. Della.
Hi, I'm Della. I have been Hyacinth Owens. You can find me here on Live from the Apocalypse, where every Thursday night I am variably a unassuming gnomish wizard named B, who's having kind of a crisis of faith, or a haunted duplex just chock full of ghosts in the form of Rachel Blauhair and Siobhan. I also run Thy Kingdom Come on this channel on second and fourth Mondays. And also, you can find me on Blue Sky at Derla Kernlins. And that's me.
Very cool. And Keith.
Hello, hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on Blue Sky at uptight-chiffon. I have been Eden Bell tonight. As far as what's coming up next, this is my last game for 2024, which is super fun, and I'm really, really glad that I got to close the year out with this. I'll be around on Entropy Emporium next Saturday for the second to last episode of Blooming in the Rot, our Invisible Sun actual play. I will also be there the following Monday for Fall of the Ashen Throne, and then the following Tuesday for They Call Us Villain. So usually I'm over on Entropy Emporium. I'm playing in a couple of their campaigns over there. I've got a couple other projects coming up that I can't talk about yet. Follow me on social media. That is where you'll hear about it first. That's me.
Extremely cool. And Rouge.
Hello, I'm Rouge. I have been Mary Barkley in this adventure, and you can find me on Instagram as Pirate Rouge and Blue Sky as Captain Rouge. Or you could just tune right back into this same channel at 6 o'clock tonight because I'm also going to be in the Veil Breakers game that's happening to close out our Haz-Mas adventure on the channel. And we are heading into the big final battle with the big bad that this over year-long campaign has been building towards. So it should be an exciting time. So catch me back here again tonight.
Very cool. And I guess that leaves me. Hi, everyone. I am Brendan. I've been your storyteller this evening, general maker of horrible sounds and describer of things. When I'm not doing this, I am also in our Masks Actual Play podcast, where I play Alex Sandowski, aka Victory. I am the game master for our Monster of the Week Actual Play podcast, Cryptid Community College. I'm a player in Thy Kingdom Come, our Urban Shadows game that Della mentioned earlier, where I play Sepher, Teenage Frankenstein Vembo, V2 Rocket in a trench coat, really going through it. And also, I am running our Wild Card Wednesday Power Rangers Rampant game, which I think we are currently planning on ringing that in on Wednesday as our first game on LFTA of the year on New Year's Day evening. We'll see how everyone is actually feeling. We've all agreed to it, and like let's see how we're feeling in the actual moment. But that is on the schedule, so tune in then. And I think that is it for me. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us today, and to everyone who has joined us for all of our Haz-Mas games across this holiday season. It has been wonderful to be putting these on for you, and thank you so much for chatting, for encouraging us, and of course for raising money for a good cause. We genuinely would not be able to do any of this without you. If you have not already, and you would like to keep track of what we're doing, you can join our Discord community, where there is generally a bunch of very good and also semi-hinged sometimes content going on, including some community nights off stream where we will watch movies, play Jackbox games, that sort of thing. It is generally a very cool time, if I do say so myself. Um, we are going to be going away here. I don't actually see anybody really streaming right now, so I don't think we're gonna do any raids. But yeah, come back here at 6 o'clock this evening for Veil Breakers. Uh, say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Night.